did podcasts.
Yeah.
Like initially, and I also like look back. I was like, oh my god, I'm like greasy and shiny, and my makeup artist like, oh, you just need like some translucent powder.
Yeah, it helps absorb the oil.
Yeah. So.
No, people on screen, actually, it's not a bad idea. Like, people, actors and stuff do that all the time.
Yeah.
Cool.
This light is slightly in his frame.
Because we're live now, so it's very nice.
Okay,
yeah.
don't put this online. Whatever you do, I definitely won't post that. Right, I'll report it.
That's okay.
You post it.
It might be on YouTube though.
Over just a little bit, so it's not his frame,
How do I look?
but lovely.
Fabulous, Joey.
Absolutely.
Oh, what's going on, dude? You done?
There we go. Cool.
Putting on
I feel
makeup?
good. Yep.
Nice.
Gotta do it. Yeah, I would go to Chris's studio, and it was hot as hell. I'm like sweating right away. And
It's nice here, right? With the AC and everything. It was.
Shut it off.
yeah, that,
Yeah, I
mean,
shut it off. Yeah, nice.
It's
Cool.
definitely important to keep it like comfy, because especially if you're doing like an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Like, how long do you think we'll?
About probably 2 hours.
4 hours.
Usually 2 hours.
Right. So yeah, it can't be a hot box.
It
for
can't
2
be a
hours.
hot sauna
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
But it's a nice setup, right?
Yeah.
What the building's not that great, but the actual setup is pretty cool.
How
Is
does
this-
this? Are you able to see
No.
live feed?
Mm-mm.
Oh, does it not do that?
Ooh,
No.
but that's a
Okay,
good
but you
idea
can
too.
see it on the back of there.
Yeah.
It looks good. Because you might want to check, because that light now is just bringing in more light, and it might be overexposed.
Oh, that's so cool that you geek out about how it looks.
Yeah.
Because we need help for this, and it's nice.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing I wanted to ask
That's
you.
Sony something. Okay, that's like similar to what I have for my Twitch. If you need any help with that, I'm somewhat familiar. Yeah, I only use it for like a desktop camera, but
What are you using for the desktop camera?
like Sony A6300, something like that. Those are probably 6400s or.
I don't know.
Do you need you gotta?
Well,
Go ahead,
I
Max.
think it's better.
Okay.
Put it on, see if you like it. It's better. You hear better.
Check.
Nice.
I like to talk quietly into the mic. This is what I like about this is that if I didn't have it, I would just guess to talk loud. But your voice doesn't sound as cool if you talk loud.
Exactly.
It sounds cooler if you come here and have a lot of bass in your voice.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love that you geek out about this.
Yeah, this is good. What is that radio station like Delilah? You know what I'm talking about? Delilah. Like she's like very soft spoken
Okay.
on air. It's like quiet and sexy. You almost fall asleep listening to her talk, but that's kind of the I think she's like this close to the mic. Can you hear her?
I can
Yeah,
Oh,
we
you
can
can?
hear.
Can you hear how soft that is?
Yes.
Right.
Oh, soft.
Sounds good.
Hold on.
I'm so glad we got to do this, bro.
Uh-huh. Yeah, likewise.
You're weird. I like you.
Do I look greasy or how's my powder?
Oh, beautiful. Not
Wow.
greasy at all.
Incredible. Is this my good side? I don't know.
Absolutely stunning.
I think it is.
Do you know what your good side is?
No.
You don't know what your good side is.
I try to remember because my last name is Wright, and I think what I've told myself, I need to be on the right side of a group in a photo. I think this is my good side.
Really? Do you want to switch side?
No, I think this is it.
This is it.
I'm that
We're
camera,
getting his
right?
best-
Yeah.
best
that
angle.
camera.
Incredible.
So you're gonna look the other way. Nice.
Okay, wait, let me do one. Oh, this is good. I can see here. Oh yeah. Oh wait, no, I gotta fix this hair. Hold on. We're not ready yet. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna go over here with
Should
it.
keep like a mirror in the studio too.
A what?
A mirror?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe it'd be cool. Yeah, to have one. Well, this light is very nice that you brought this. It looks
helps,
so much
right?
better.
And especially with the hat too, because that way he's not getting like shadow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. If I had like done my hair, I would have been another 20 minutes. So I was like, hat it is.
How much time do you spend on your hair?
Good lord. Too much.
Like how much?
Like 10. It's like a 7 minutes, I would say.
7 minutes?
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you do for 7 minutes?
It's a process. It's a 4 to 5 step process.
What's the?
A little bit of pomade.
No.
Because I don't do nothing.
No gel.
Spray first. Then you blow dry that and you go up with it. Okay?
Okay.
Do you have a
So you-
picture?
No.
Do you
never
have a
show
video
this.
tutorial?
So you take the hair up, right? Because you spray it, blow dry it, and now it's like kind of roughly in the position that you want it.
Okay. How do you want you? You always have a cap on.
You want? Well, no. Only you see me like when I'm just. It's like the equivalent of like wearing scrubs.
Dude, every time I've seen you, you had a cap.
Right, but if I go out, I don't have a hat.
Maybe. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So okay, you
Go out where?
Anywhere. Like I mean,
Out in public.
in public. Well, like
Usually.
We were in public every time I saw you.
No, no. I mean like where I might run into a potential mate.
Okay.
Who says it like that?
I don't know.
I like it. Don't get me wrong.
Where is
I like
that?
it, but
I thought you could.
If I'm just foraging, then I don't need a.
in Trader Joe's.
Well, you might find a mate.
You might.
But if I'm just
two birds with
provisioning-
one stone.
And foraging, then I don't need it. So okay, you go up,
You go up.
blow dry. That like freezes it into the rough position. Then you come back down with the glue. Okay, so then it's like make a little glue, and then you kind of like you start working down to the level that you want it to be. You can't go up with it from flat.
No, that's fair.
So
Give
you go-
yourself
you-
some volume.
Pop it up, poof it first, bring it back in. So it's like expand it to failure,
Okay.
dial it back to success.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's like the muscles.
Yeah, and then
You need to train to
a
failure.
new spray.
Huh.
And then lock it in with the blow dryer on a low setting.
Like a piece of art, you know it's perfect when you don't want to take anything else away.
Yeah, well, also because we live in South Florida, it's very windy when you go outside. So my hair is like cannot move in hurricane force winds once I go out. I have very thin hair. That's the problem. So if I go out, it looks like Donald Trump. Like, you ever seen him in the wind?
Yeah.
Not good. Not good.
It's not good.
Not,
at all.
not.
Oh, the way he puts his hair on is it's. But you gotta. He's consistent with it.
Yeah. It's like Homer Simpson has those little 3 strands of hair, but you have to be strategic with those 3 strands.
Right placement.
You
Yeah.
think it's the only way that.
What the fuck are we talking about?
No idea.
Is this going on the...
Probably.
Jesus.
Yes.
Okay. all right.
Nothing. It's uncut. We learned all about your
Great.
daily hair routine.
Wow. This is supposed to be like a magician
It was great.
not giving his trade secrets. It's okay.
You're more relaxed than earlier, though.
Yeah, because I just got off fighting for my life on Sunrise in my car because I was going full Daytona 500 down. And I made this okay, remember I called you? I'm like, oh, do
Yeah.
I go right at the fork or whatever? So I make the right, and then I realized, so it's on the other side of the street, so I'm either going to have to go down and make a U-E somewhere, and I didn't know how far that would be. And I'm already feeling the pressure of how late I am. So
We were just hanging out, just chilling.
It was probably so chill in here.
extreme.
At the same time, I'm like... and
No, and here,
you
bro,
could-
I was like, he's late. He's like, doesn't matter. He's just gonna get here when he gets here.
No, I'm
and
like,
that's
oh,
it.
they're paying for studio time, and I'm literally burning.
We just want you to be comfortable and get here safely.
We were discussing this in the car before getting here, actually.
Okay, so I decide last minute. I make this like quick decision, right turn at the end of the Gateway Plaza, and probably the guy behind me, like, I don't think I cut him off, but it was a pretty like last minute blinker and turn, right? So it might have looked a little dick if you were the guy behind me.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it wasn't the craziest thing.
You didn't bump into him.
No one. Did you die though? Right? Like that's
No,
no. It wasn't that bad. But I turned, and then I what I did is, so now I just need to like make a U-E
Yeah.
to get to the light to go left. So I turned, and then I immediately pulled over. He thought I was pulling over to like yell at him or something. So he like slowed down next to me and rolled his window down. Is like, but I'm just like waiting for him to go by, which was making it worse because he's going slow, and I'm like, dude, hurry the fuck up. So I can make my U-turn and get back to the light and make. So he thought we were road raging.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to turn around.
We were just so calm in here, so you're just having an absolute
Yeah, and
panic.
I'm like looking at my gun underneath the thing and him, and I'm like, are we gonna have a shootout or what? People almost died out there, is what I'm trying to say.
I get that picture. You
While
painted
there
a
was
picture.
calm in here.
We should have just texted.
Oh shit! Okay, so that's why you were stressed out when you
Yeah,
got here.
I had thoughts of murder.
Do you feel better now?
I feel better now. In my electrolyte water.
Oh, that's so funny because you're
I put a little lemon flavor in there.
you have your gun in your car.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one of them. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Are you a gun collector?
No, I'm not a gun collector, but I have just. I guess it's kind of like with photography. You could relate to this. You start out, you don't really know exactly. You kind of get something somebody told you to get, but later as you progress, you realize like, oh, this would be better for my purpose, and then you slowly step up. So like the more I learned, the more I was like, oh no, I don't need the thing I got before. I need this one because I also go do like a little competitive shooting. So it's not like I have guns just for I don't. They're more for going out and shooting for fun than they are for protection. I don't really feel.
What does
I
that
don't feel
mean?
threatened.
Competitive shooting.
I go out usually once a
Well, are you
month.
shooting photos or with the gun?
No guns.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't sure. It could apply for both.
I should. Okay, so from now on, if I'm talking about shooting guns, I'll say shooting pew pew. If I say camera, I'll say shooting click click.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Because you're gonna shoot a lot of people today.
So pew pew is once a month, and I go out and train with an instructor, and I have some buddies. We're all into it, and they run a little contest every month, and
Nice.
it's cool. Yeah, it's fun. Here's what I really like about it. So I'm not. I don't want to come off as like a gun nut. I'm not. It's a great activity that you really have no choice but to be 100% present, that is like the most difficult thing to do ever, because most of the stuff, I mean, especially let's say with my photography, if I'm shooting I guess if I'm shooting, I'm in it. That actually is nice. If I'm shooting, I'm not thinking of anything else. I'm zoned in, but that's not like every day. So most of my days, I'm just like puttering through these things that I'm in autopilot. So you're thinking of like the rest of the week, yesterday. If you're out on the range, you are not thinking about anything but what's right in front of you, because there's a
risk.
Safety risk, right? Yeah. So in that case, you're just dialed into the activity at hand. It's kind of like even scuba diving. I think that's what's nice about that. You're very sort of like peacefully in your zone and present, because there also is a risk of, if you're not, you could forget that somebody else was with you, and now they're not, and you don't see them, and they're missing, and they're out of oxygen, or an activity that requires your 100% focus is nice to have in a world that's flooded with just stimulus in every direction. It's just sensory overload. So so it's a good like day that is like and it's out in the freaking boonies, and we have to drive like 2 hours north to go, and we're in this big range that's like out. It's the instructor. It's his
who's
property.
the instructor?
This is Tactical Firearms Academy.
Is that James?
Andy is the guy that runs it.
Huh.
He's the owner.
Yeah, because he said
2
not
hours north.
No, you didn't say north.
Yeah, north. It's in
It is
Clewiston.
north. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Where's I don't know.
Somewhere near Boca.
So, it's in Boca. Okay, but he trains the field that he trains at is up north, right? In Jupiter or something like that.
Yeah, actually, I think that sounds right.
Well, basically, to get out of the city and to go where there's land and you can actually shoot that,
Yeah, exactly.
you're pretty much forced to go
So James
up north.
was on a podcast last week. He's an ex-cop, right?
Okay.
And he has a training school for clearing out like buildings and high
I've done some of that too,
and things like that. So it's very, very nice. We wanted to go actually to try it out.
There's a group that I've done that with in Miami. It's kind of funny because you're downtown Miami and then you go into this. It's like this. It's an office building.
Yeah.
But they own they rent out like the 4th floor, whatever floor it is.
Okay.
And now you're in a
setting,
like a military training environment. It's a shoot house.
No way.
So that whole floor, they've like kind of taken out. There's no more rooms, and they have all the rooms are created by them with plywood. So it's like this, and they can change. They can make the rooms different as much as they want.
You just have to replace the plywood.
Well, they're kind of on like wheels and stuff, so they can kind of like float things around a little bit.
There's the frame of the walls, and then they replace the plywood for the new rounds or whatever.
No. But you're not shooting like real bullets. You're shooting these.
Oh, okay. So it's
sim rounds they do hurt. I mean, I got shot wearing a glove. Okay, this is it's called CQB training, right? Close quarter battles. Okay. So that's guys going through rooms and it's kind of cool because it's really like an art form. I mean, it is, except if it were real life and not, us kind of LARPing in there. The losing is death, basically, for that game, right? But so it's like the highest stakes game when these guys are doing it for real. And the guys that teach it they're all, one's a sniper for Broward Sheriff's Office, and one was one of the guys that was on the mission. You know Captain Phillips, the movie?
No.
Tom Hanks was in the Somalian pirate that they.
Okay.
They react.
Yes.
I don't think I've seen this one.
Okay, but it was based on a true story from about, I guess, 10 years ago or so, where these Somalian pirates overtook this giant ship, took the captain. It's the one where he's like, "I am your captain now." You've heard that famous line?
Oh, this one? Yeah, okay. Cool,
yeah, so like one of these guys on
I've
that.
seen the meme.
Yeah, one of the guys that trains, that's one of the instructors was like, he was a part of that mission. One of the guys there is like a Delta guy. Anyways, they're like all legitimate badass dudes.
That's cool.
But they do courses there. So you sit in the classroom, they do stuff on the, they kind of cover the classroom stuff, and then you go in, and now you're sort of doing these team room clearing things, and then at the end, I did the like 1, 2, and 3 courses. Every day is like a different level, right? So I went through them all, and on the last one, they do force on force. So they like take some of you, and you're the bad guys, and they hide you, and you're gonna and they don't let the good guys know where you're hiding. So you're gonna ambush them when they come in the room. But you're also shooting these sim rounds that are kind of like paintballs, really. So you're using your real rifles, but they switch out the bolt that's made to shoot this ammunition. And I thought, like, if you got hit with it, it was just... I've done paintball before, and it's, it stings. Well, they put me behind this desk, and this is what I realized. It does kind of suck for a bad guy when you were just waiting in fear for the moment that is going to happen when the good guys come through the door. And the fact that they have momentum, you could say, well, I know they're coming, so I should have the advantage. That's what you would think, right? Like, what would you rather be? The guy that's hidden and only you know your location, and you can hear if they're coming because you're quiet. So don't you think you have the one up that as soon as they come through the door, you're just, well, it kind of changes once you're like in the position. So I'm behind this desk, and as soon as they come through the door, it's like a whole team, and they're coming in aggressively. So it's like you feel that like power coming through the door, and now you're like, oh fuck! And then I'm down behind the desk shooting my pistol like this, and I just feel my hand just get blasted like multiple times, and it took like I'm like, I'm hit, okay, and then I'm like, fuck, that fucking hurt. And then I look down, I'm like, why is my glove wet? And it, like, through the glove, it busted
Oh, it
open two of
pierced
my
your skin.
fingers.
Oh shit!
Like that, like they were like bleeding heavily. and I had these little like knots that scarred up in my fingers that didn't go away for like a year.
Really?
Yeah, it was like it kind of fucked my fingers up for like a year, I would say.
You know the tire, like the Michelin tire, it's like white. And he's
Yeah,
got
the
like a bunch
white
of That's
guy.
what I'm going in as.
That's what I wish I went in as. Hold on, I'm gonna.
I'll just stand up from the desk. Bring it on.
Yeah, I wish I had like a rubber suit on. I had a mask, and I had like all my money maker and my baby maker covered up, but
Good.
but the hand, yeah, they got me in the hand. I was gonna. Oh, here it is. Look.
Oh, you have a picture.
You see?
Oh wow.
Oh shit!
Nothing like fractured.
No.
No. Okay.
But you see, like that.
No, it
split-
opened your skin.
okay.
Yeah, it was pretty. Like I take the glove off and my hand's just like kind of covered in blood. It was. Yeah, but so it was cool in the sense of like, oh, that was good. But imagine like then, okay, ramp it up to real life, like 1,000 times more crazy. You know.
You wouldn't have a hand.
No, my hand would have been gone. It was like it would have been no hand, and then, and then they don't just stop. Like you got my hand, I'm down. Like,
Are you afraid when you're doing that training?
uh,
Like, do you feel fear, or is it?
well, yeah. When I was in that position as like the bad guy, you
I like how
definitely.
you quote it every time.
Yeah, I was the bad guy. Yeah, when I was the bad guy, yeah, that sucked kind of. But when you're with the team and you're on the good guys and you feel that
Sense of power.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, which is cool. Like
Where do you think that comes from, though? The
You have a
sense that you
pack.
feel of like attacking or whatever. Like, where do you think that comes from?
wait, the what? The which sense?
Like you said the sense of power when you come in the room when you're. With
well,
the good
that's
guys.
just like strength in numbers, right?
You got backup.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
not if you don't know what you're doing.
correct. Well, because then you put the whole group at risk.
Exactly, because
Right.
if you don't know what
Yeah.
you're doing, you just come in all over and at once, and then the bad guy is just like, I shut them all.
Yeah, and by the way, for the record, I took, maybe 4 total full days of this, and
you're an expert,
I know, yeah, no, I know like, so I know like 1% of
Yeah.
what there is to know about.
Probably.
It takes 20 years of doing this every day for these guys to be like really good.
Isn't that wild?
Well, maybe they'll be good after a year or so, but these guys have been doing it for that long that it's like they're just
so smooth.
so
it's
much
like
more than any of
second
us are gonna like
nature.
take it.
Yeah.
It's like I know when I do my photography workshop, like you come for 3 days, like I'm gonna dump as much stuff as I can on you, but like
Oh, I want to take your photography workshop.
should.
Cool.
Okay.
Deal.
This is why I was
Yeah.
so excited about this.
Boom.
Yeah, you said he's a photographer. I'm like,
Because
okay,
we have
cool.
a nerd about this right here.
I do want to talk to you later. I have a new project that I came up with last night. Well, actually, it was because of my Twitch. I told you I do my Twitch stream every Monday.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I didn't know
so
you did.
why do you do that? You do this for your community, right?
Yes. So, okay. I think of Instagram as sort of like, here's my continuous portfolio and reminder that I exist, right? It's not a really...
Wait, what do you do? What kind of photo do you do?
Oh, okay. That we should have started with an introduction, right?
Babes. Photographs of babes.
Can we just take this part and put it in the front?
No.
Okay.
No.
I take pictures of oily women.
Ooh.
Yeah, shiny ladies.
Fun job to have.
Yeah, it's not the worst. So I guess really I'm a swimwear photographer is really what you would say. Swimwear lifestyle. But if you go on my Instagram, it's gonna be mostly swimwear. Instagram's kind of my thirst trap.
It
Really?
works. Oh, it
Yeah.
works.
Yeah, I made friends with this couple at the gym. I don't know how I like put together something. Somehow me and this guy started having a conversation at the gym, and then we figured out that we have a mutual friend, and then we were actually at the same party a month earlier or whatever. Anyway, so now we became buddies, and he introduced me to his girlfriend or his wife or whatever. And then he's like, "Oh, let me get her Instagram," and she's like, "You can't follow that." I was like, "He's supporting me." She's like, "Oh, I bet he would." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't." I'm like, "All right, understood."
You do great work.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So,
Oh, we like your work very much. It's
People-
it's necessary for peace.
It's hard to hate.
It's like the
I've
guy,
been told.
It's like the guy that invented the legging.
Wait, okay, expand.
Well, so there's the guy that invented the legging, right?
Mhm.
And then we convinced them to wear it as pants.
Wait, okay, now bring that back into what I do.
You should be nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize.
Okay, sure, I'll take it. I didn't see the connection there, but I'll go with it. Yeah, I'm like when people ask what you do, I'm like the legging guy.
Yeah,
There you go.
I'm like.
That's what Oliver told me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it works, right? So that guy, and then also it's a guy that invented the legging, which is funny.
Yeah.
And then, because I asked her the other day, I was like, do you see, like that it's pants, but not really. Like you see it.
Yeah, but we live in them now, like they are.
They're like rice paper pants, really.
What is a rice paper?
Well, like very thin.
Because I thought the purpose of pants was to cover what you got. No. A little bit.
There must have been a time.
At first, because you.
Okay, think about this for a second. When pants were invented,
Yeah.
people up until that were kind of still, balls out, right? And maybe they had some kind of little doohickey, but like
Allure.
What do you
that
think
means
came
for a while
first?
there's early adopters that are wearing the pants around, and then there's still a bunch of people with their balls hanging out,
Yeah.
and they're like, I'm not doing that. And that must have been a weird
It must have been weird.
period
Yeah. Because
of
up
a
until,
society of half.
Yeah. Just because up until there's not majority of people that are not doing it, you still feel that being naked is
listen,
better.
Even though
No?
the reality, it was like small steps. I'm just saying it because it's more fun to think about this society where there's like half naked people and then people with regular like modern jeans on.
Yeah, it's like you think
it's
it's
just
like
funnier to think of it that way.
It's just a trend. It's gonna pass. Imagine the old guy.
Yeah,
They're
like,
no,
oh,
it's gonna pass.
No, we didn't need that. we don't do that. Yeah, we did just fine without that.
Yeah, we didn't need that.
And he's like, ow, my sat on a thorn. Yeah. Actually, it is crazy. I went to Africa and I went to Zimbabwe. This was like several years ago, but
Nice.
did this kind of expedition, if you will. And
For work or a person, like just vacation?
no, it was not for work. It was like a survival trip, really.
What do you
Okay,
mean?
this is getting interesting.
My Africa
so-
story.
Yeah,
do you mean?
100%. I'm obsessed. I can't wait to go.
Okay,
Please share.
it was because of my job. Okay, this is actually one of the great parts of my job is that I come in contact with so many interesting people, and I get hired to do this calendar shoot like 10 years ago, and the client, it was for a software company, which was kind of weird already. It's like a software company. They're having me do a bikini calendar photo shoot, and it was going to be dinosaur themed because so all the swimsuits had animal print on them, and we shot it at Wekiva Springs up near Orlando. So it was like outdoors, animal print, and then the client brought like blow up dinosaurs. I mean, it was really very cheesy and shouldn't have existed as like a thing. But the company was called. So, okay. But still, I'm like, why are we doing a calendar shoot
Sitting
for
around a boardroom table.
and I had done calendars for like a swimsuit pageant, the Atlanta Falcons. I shot their like cheerleader calendar for 4 years.
Nice.
Now I'm shooting this calendar for a software company. It didn't really make
Why not?
a lot of sense. I don't know. Anyways,
They can't be bros.
I mean, I wasn't mad about it. I'm like, I don't care what it's for. Like sure. Like I'll, another cool job, get paid well. And, anyways, the client shows up and it's this older gentleman and he's like Jack, this dude, right? And I say older, like at this time, so he's probably around 50, but in like killer shape. And like he was like your stature, right? But maybe even like a little bigger and a little more like shredded, right?
Okay.
Okay, so like just to give you an idea, and you're in great shape. So this guy's like, and I'm kind of already judging him, and I'm thinking like, this is just some meatball idiot dude. Turns out to be like the nicest guy, funny, fucking smart, and he's from Zimbabwe, and he's got a South African accent. He's a white guy. He looks like Rambo's body with like Anderson Cooper's head. Okay, if that.
Good-looking guy.
Yeah. I could send you pictures to go with some of these stories, so that if you want to like pop them on screen, because I have the perfect.
Yes, please.
Yes,
Okay,
please.
all right. You might have to remind me later, like, hey, I
Paint
need
the
the photo of this guy or this.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to show you now. This is. Am I lying about my description?
Oh no. Fucking. He's jacked.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a fucking assassin. Like,
wow. Okay.
like-
Looks mean too.
yeah. Like this is also him.
What is that?
All right.
Oh,
The owner, or like one of the owners, I guess, of the software company.
it's an interesting
Yeah.
line
Kind
of
of
work. Okay.
kind of bizarre, right? Okay.
What
so-
kind of software did he do?
I don't even remember. So it's
Military software.
yeah, I don't know. Like, so, it was a great shoot. It was a really fun shoot. And at the end, he's like, hey, you guys, if you want to come to dinner, I'll take you out to dinner afterwards. You know, it's all me. And of course, all the models are like, no, I'm gonna go home, whatever. Me and my assistant were like, yes, like let's do it. Like this guy's cool. Like let's go have dinner. And by the way, this is a good lesson for, like, it never hurts to just spend a little time connecting with somebody. You just have no idea, like, what it can lead to, right? If I didn't go to dinner, I would have missed out on the greatest trip years later, that I'm talking about years later from that, right? Just because we're like, yeah, fuck it. What do we got to lose? You know, like now, maybe one of the other models or people from the shoot like actually had some prior plans, but it was kind of a random day, whatever. And sure, I'm sure they were tired, but I just don't.
Take the opportunity.
Yeah, I'm like, what? I'm gonna go home and heat up some crappy food and
Wait,
not
so-
talk to somebody
so
new.
You brought the models for the shoot. Like
Well,
you were-
we all met
How does
there.
that work?
They all met there. Like I hired them, so
Okay.
I knew them all. They were all, and they weren't even just like strangers. I get that. That could be intimidating if it's like, no, I'm not. I'm not going off with you guys that I don't know. But like, you know, I was actually friends with all the models. But anyways, whatever. It's you know, no judgment on them. But I was happy that my buddy who assisted me on that gig, we went and had dinner, and he's just telling these like epic stories about living and growing up in Zimbabwe, and he was in the Rhodesian army, and he's been a part of some crazy things, like trying to assassinate the dictator Mugabe, who was a dictator for 40 years up until a few years ago. Anyways, like really interesting dude. So if I send you a picture, you have to blur his face out.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm not gonna say his name either.
put that
Did I already say his name?
I
Anyways,
don't think so.
We'll blur it out. If
Maybe we can
Needs
blur
okay,
it out.
yeah.
protect the people
Bleep that
we
out
need
too,
to.
yeah.
Okay.
So he's telling us these stories like, Joey, you have to come to Africa. When we plan our trip, bring your camera. You'll get the most amazing photos you've ever gotten. I will put you in the lion's mouth if you want, as close as you want to get to things. I'm like, this sounds fucking awesome. Like,
Yes,
yeah.
it does.
I'm like, hell yeah. Now, again, look at people like to just propose things that are like unlikely to happen just to have the cool words come out of their mouth. But he was actually serious. Like this guy, and we stayed in touch, and we did a shoot the next year. He's like, hey, we're going to do the calendar shoot again. You ready for it? You know, and I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. And every time he'd come into town, like we'd also hang out or get together. So we stayed friends. And fast forward from that first shoot, like 3 years later, he's like, Joey, we're going to Africa. He's like, these are the dates. All you need is to pay for your flight. I'm like, oh, all right, cool. I guess he's got like a place for us to stay and food. I don't know, whatever. Like I'm thinking, like I guess he's taking care of the.
Did you ask?
The rest of the
or-
accommodation.
I didn't really ask.
You're just like, yes.
Yeah, I know. I'm just like, no. This is one of those things. It's just like, don't think too much about it. You'll think your way out of it, right?
Yeah.
Just like I told my dad, he's like, you're not going to Africa.
Yes. Say it.
I'm like, well, we're just really, there's not like a debate. And yeah, that's it. Like,
Well, I'm going now, so if I don't come back, then you know where to
yeah, I
look.
did organize a dinner before I left in case it was like my last supper, So I made sure. Yeah. So he puts us in a Facebook group that's like leading up to this trip. And now he's sharing information about the local territories that we're going to be passing through. I didn't really, honestly, thinking back, I didn't ask many questions at all, which was like kind of stupid. And normally I'm pretty like, I want to know details. I just trusted him so much that I'm like, it doesn't matter. Just, I'm going either way, right? Yeah. So the reason I only had to pay for the flight is because we didn't have food. Or rooms and beds and things. The trip was 8 days of canoeing down the Zambezi River, and we like drank the river water and caught fish for food, and we each had one backpack, and it was like, oh, are we bringing tents? He's like, tents are for pussies.
That is so cool.
Yeah, so we slept like under the stars and saw the world as the cavemen saw it.
Nice.
And it was pretty incredible. It was epic. So I'll give you a little more of the detail of it.
Please.
The funny parts were like leading up to it. The more information I was getting, I was like, what the fuck did I sign up for? Right? He's sending us current, like, 2 women killed by hippo in this area. He's like, this is where we're going.
That's exactly like you tried to sell me the Amazon the other day.
This is what I do for him when we go on trips.
Yeah, so I'm like, I literally think I was like, hey, you're not really like selling this trip very good right now. It's like, guy gets bitten and killed by black mamba snake. He's like, yeah, we're gonna watch out for those. He's sending this all to us as like, hey, heads up.
Yeah,
Two
it's good that you're aware
fishermen killed by crocodile. Like, so every like 3 days, there's a new story of somebody dying by some other animal out there. And this is like local news from where we're going, basically, right? 2 guys got killed, mistaken as poachers. They were it was like friendly fire. Anyways, like an Italian tourist and his son were killed. This is all like happening at the same time. And I think with that, he's like, well, that's a horrible thing, but it's good for us because it's unlikely to happen twice.
He's right.
Well, yeah, like lightning.
He's right.
Yeah, I guess so. He's like, they're going to be a little more careful.
Statistically, we're safe.
Statistically, yeah. They'll be more careful about shooting just into the woods when they hear rustling, So, at one point he goes, because the Facebook group was like, I didn't know the other guys on the trip. He's like, these are my rugby buddies. And so there's going to be 5 of us total. So it's like.
Okay. With the models.
No models.
No models.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, this is just like a dude's trip.
Oh,
so
okay,
it's
cool.
like one guy's a Marine Corps guy, another Special Forces Army Ranger, the main guy, and another dude who's just like a big outdoorsman, and then me, the photographer guy. So
didn't ask a lot of questions and didn't really.
The guy that doesn't ask questions. Yeah.
I'm sure everyone was excited, but you.
I was excited, but also it was like a weird mix of being excited and being nervous, and which kind of got worse. Actually, that went away once you got there. And then you kind of were like, all right, because people adapt very fast. And that's like the reality. It's like the scariest part was it's like going to the gym. The shittiest part is putting your shoes on and then like getting up to go. But then when you're there, you're in it. It becomes your normal. So things normalize pretty quickly. And that trip was a good reminder of that. Makes you kind of not as like scared of the uncertainty of the future. So he says that at one point, he's like, Joe, you're going to need a knife with a 7-inch blade on it. I'm like, why 7 inches so specifically, if you don't mind me asking? Because that's how far it is to get to the intestines of a large cat.
I knew that's where that was going.
I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah, because, you get the skin and the fat and then the...
It's true.
Yeah. So I'll get the 9-inch.
Comes out with a machete.
Yeah, with a sword. I'll get the
That's what I did.
The
That's what I
Conan
did
sword.
Dude, that's what I did in the jungle. When we went in the jungle at night, I found a machete, and then I took it.
Well, that's what you do when you find one.
I was like, I cannot leave this weapon there.
No.
It would be unsafe.
It was the right thing to do.
It was the right thing.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
So I order my big knife. I'm like gathering up these supplies. He sent us this great message right before the trip. You want me to read it to you? It's pretty.
Yes.
It's kind of epic, honestly.
Yeah, I'd love that.
And it'll put you in the mindset of like where I was in my head as we're about to go on this trip. Okay. Make sure I'm reading this right. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Should I read it in the
Did you like save
accent?
this for like?
Read in.
Yeah, I have a whole album of like my photos and stuff, but I screenshotted his message because it was worthy of Okay, gentlemen, you are about to embark upon the most epic adventure of your life. If you have not shaken hands with your own mortality for a while, I assure you, you will by day 2. You are going to enter into the most incredibly beautiful place you could ever imagine, not unlike the fabled Lost Valley of the dinosaurs. It is one of the last places in Africa untouched and unspoiled by human encroachment. It is as dangerous as it is beautiful, and is something your grandchildren will tell their grandchildren about because it will soon be lost forever. However, there is structure and rules to this wild environment, and a clarity that you will not find in any human community. It is built on respect and understanding. Understand that many creatures out there will see you only as food, and the decision to attack will be based on hunger, opportunity, and a reasoned approach, whether they might be injured and possibly impede their ability to hunt later on. They won't just attack without reason, but they could if they feel threatened, territorial, or challenged. So the best defense is situational awareness and mutual respect. Walking off 50 yards to take a dump takes on a whole new meaning when you realize that you are separating from the security of the group and that you cross that fine line from menu item to potential entree for any predator lurking around. And you will see they are everywhere. This is their neighborhood. So now, little everyday decisions like relieving yourself or washing your mess kit at the river's edge becomes a life or death roll of the dice. And don't let yourself get tunnel vision or get carried away by the majesty and spectacle of the moment, because behind that will be danger and an opportunity for something that senses your distraction. Trust your age-old and suppressed instinct. If you get that tingly feeling, speak up. You are most likely right that something is wrong. Don't second guess yourself. Finally, get it in your head that you are not going to die for any reason. You're going to fight until your last breath, despite everything in your sentient, overly civilized cognitive head. If you have your hand down the throat of a lion, grab its tonsils and rip them out. If a croc is pulling you into deep water, break your finger off in its eyes. Stick your leg down its gullet and choke it with your own body if you have to, but don't give up. I promise all of you that I will give my life to try and save yours. It is my solemn pledge and obligation, and I will take the hit or join the fight as soon as I humanly can. So don't give up for anything. Get it in your head now. On the flip side, I don't want to die either, so I will be doing my best to keep us all out of trouble. So trust me, listen to my instruction, and we will all emerge on the other side stronger and better with the experience of a lifetime. We have 2 guides with local knowledge, food, fresh water, and the Milky Way above us, unspoiled by ambient light for hundreds of miles. This will be as the cavemen saw the world. I can't wait to share it with you.
He
Wow.
sounds like an incredible human being.
He is.
If you
Wow.
could say no, but could you send that to me?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that in like a giant picture or something. That is
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah.
That's a cool quote. That's
What
a
a-
cool message. Yeah.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
a good yes to say.
Yeah. You're like, oh, fuck yeah, okay. Like, shit.
Who talks like that nowadays?
Nobody. That's like
That's
when you
amazing.
hear like old letters from soldiers to their wives in World War II, and they're so poetic, and now it's like, hey, yo, babe, like it's some dumbed down shit communication, the way we like talk.
We were talking about this
Literally on the way here.
On the way here, yeah. It was so funny because she took like 10 minutes to write a message because she asked a favor to artist that you know.
Yeah, a musician.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So and then we were driving to here, and I was like, she started the message when we were home,
Yeah.
and when we like almost here. It's about 20 minutes away. She was still writing the message. I was like, oh shit, what are you writing? And she just like, she took the time to write it, and she explained like because she wanted to look good, like because it was important for her.
Right.
Yeah.
Now we're like emoji.
Yeah, people don't spend enough.
It's gonna get better though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
because you know why?
It's coming back.
ChatGPT, write me a nice letter.
Good point.
So it's gonna get better, not because we're smarter, but because we have the tools that make us sound smarter.
Also, it's nice to have those tools. It takes less time.
No, it's an incredible thing. I heard this, and I think it's the best way it was put, is that, well, AI will take some people's jobs, but think of it more this way. AI won't necessarily take your job, but somebody using it will.
Yeah.
That's it. It's like having a little superpower, you know? It's like somebody that has a cell phone versus somebody that doesn't. Like, I can be way more productive than you. I can get shit done. You know, that's a huge advantage if you think about it. Now, we all have it, but this is like the next big advantage. And the next one will be like an implant in your head. And then...
Neuralink.
Yeah.
Are you going to get it?
If I'm like the guy who's starving because everybody else has it and they're all, you know, using their super smart connected powers. But I mean, this is like it,
you don't
except
want to be
it's
the first
not.
one to do it, though.
No, hell no. I don't want to be the first one. Fuck no. I don't want to be the first one to do anything that has anything to do with surgery or medical technology. Ideally, I mean, if you're on your deathbed and they're like, we got this new, yeah, fucking do it, whatever, right? But
I'm gonna die either way, like right away. Like so, might as well do it.
Yeah,
that
makes sense.
Are you an early adopter though when it comes to photography?
Oh, that's a good question.
In some ways, I get. Well, I'm trying to think. Well, here's my approach when it comes to upgrading gear, right? Because it never ends. You could just like spend all your money and you'll never have the newest stuff, right? So I just get what I know I need and it's going to last me a while. And then I stop paying attention to the next camera or the next computer and the next processor and chip and whatever.
Why do you think that is?
Well, no, my point is it's like their marketing is all really good and I'm too dumb to not fall for it, right? So I just don't look at it. I don't let them fool me into thinking that I need like the next iPhone update. In fact, I'm proud of how I was like doing that upgrade program where you'd get a new one every year. And yeah, it would feel cool for the first day that you had it. And then it's the same feeling. And I'm like, oh, all that hype. And I spent a bunch of money and I like impulsively upgraded to get this thing. And it's not serving me any, I mean, there's some point where it's like, okay, this is going to be a worthy upgrade. So I'm still on an iPhone 12 and now they're on 15. So
15, yeah.
Yeah, I've held out.
I don't know. I don't pay attention.
Right. And that's a smart move because if you do, they will convince you that you're an idiot. You're an idiot if you don't
the marketing's
upgrade.
Good.
Yeah. But I this is how I remind people at my when I do my workshop when it comes to say cameras. It's like because a lot of the guys get into the gear. It's the same thing with shooting guns. Is like you got the gear guys that go out there. They have the nicest gun, this and that, but they suck. They can't hit the target. Right. You're better off.
It's not always about the newest equipment. It's the person who's using it and knowing what they're doing.
Right. I say it's the it's not the arrow. It's the Indian.
Yeah.
Right.
That makes sense.
It's not the tool. It's the tool operating the tool.
Sometimes the tool help though.
Yeah, and for sure. But like, let's say when somebody asks me, "Hey, Joey, I want to get a new camera for my vacation," I'm like, "You have a pretty new iPhone? You already have it." Like,
yeah,
yeah, it's all you need. Because are you gonna edit raw photos and like no, you're not gonna learn. So the cool thing is your iPhone will process the color and everything for you automatically. It'll stitch together your panorama automatically without you even have to take multiple photos. It'll just do everything you want it to do, and you don't have to learn a bunch of shit. And it'll do a great job.
Is it the same with the other phone, like the Samsung or whatever? Like which phone is better for photos?
iPhone's doing the best job.
Yeah, right? and again, it's like it's so minute because you like if you have to in order to figure out which one's better, you got to like take multiple photos, zoom in at 400%, and then look at
What is it called? Pixel peeping?
Pixel peeping, yeah. If you have to do that, then it kind of tells you that it's not... they're all awesome. That's the whole point.
I didn't know. That's why I asked you.
No, I know. I mean, yeah, of course. No, it's not a bad question, but that's what's. I guess if I sound frustrated, it's about them. It's about like Chevy versus Ford versus Dodge. Who fucking cares, man? Like, I mean, unless you are you're street racing for titles, then maybe it matters to you down to like the most minute little advantage. I get that.
So for you, it might matter for certain things.
Yeah.
When does it
to an extent?
When does it become relevant though? Like
so this is what I always say is I'm like, think about this. First off, if you went on somebody's Instagram and you're like scrolling through, and let's use me. If you asked me to try to guess what camera was used to take any photo, it is literally a wild guess. I have no idea. That's how not important it is what camera was used. You can't even tell the difference. You can't be like, oh, that was a Nikon shot. I can tell because of...
Really?
You can't fucking tell. You can't even really tell. Like, maybe I can guess what lens was used to some extent. I mean, and that is like still a bit of a guess, right? So like lens is kind of important. It's a little more of an artistic like decision, right? Yeah. But what you can usually guess is who took the photo.
The style.
So again, that goes back to like, it's not the arrow, it's the Indian. If you can't tell what arrow the animal was shot with, it doesn't fucking matter. But if you know that like, oh, this dude always hits, that's the important part. So, and also, I remind people, I'm like, oh yeah, while you guys are squabbling about which camera is better, what do you think? No good photos were taken until that last version of the new Sony came out? Like every photo before that was shit because we didn't have the technology until now to take a good photo? Like, no, iconic photos were shot on a potato. And
really,
there's some great photographers out there who still shoot on phones too, and their work is stunning.
I mean, not like actually potato, but that's like a dinosaur camera. Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Right. Yeah. I mean, just think about
megapixels were a lot lower, and all the tech.
I was like, mind fuck. I was like, are you trying to tell me
that somebody put he's picturing like a potato, like some guy, the nutty professor that's like, I can't.
Like the first cameras.
Yeah,
when
the
you
first
had
camera. He's like this potato.
When you're printing on plates, right? On
he's made a pinhole camera out of a potato, and there's like he's got a potato with a hole in it, and there's a piece of film in a thing, and he's.
We need to test this out. And
yeah,
see if it's actually
there's like a Coke bottle shoved into it. I'm trying to picture the Frankenstein potato camera that he's picturing in his head.
Well, because the thing is, everything you're gonna tell me about cameras, I'm gonna believe you, and I'm gonna.
I know this is fun. Since we know about cameras, we should make up things that don't exist and talk about it.
Oh, that would work.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
So
like, really?
The most important thing is your lens filtrometer.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree? Would you agree?
I don't know.
So
I think you have
to. You're fucking with me.
No, you do. You should take that into account, right?
Yeah, because if you don't have the if you don't get the right hydro clamp on the bottom of your phalanges on your.
You know, every person that we do a podcast with could do this. We'd have no idea.
I was pretty sure you were fucking with me, but I wanted to see. More than 5 minutes, I was like, okay, I guess this dude is very good.
I can keep going.
Yeah.
Anyways, where was I? What were we talking about? Jesus. We went from...
We were talking about gear and
gear.
pixel peeping, and it does the Indian and the
maybe
arrow.
Can I have some water?
Yeah, of course.
It would go a much longer way to learn about...
This one in the cup. No more cup. Sorry. There's just AG1 on this one.
I got you.
I wanted the fresh water.
You drink electrolytes?
Yeah. No, not really.
You should.
Really?
Yeah. Changed my life recently.
How?
Big time.
Like how different?
I don't feel tired and like sluggish anymore.
Okay. Do you think it was just because you were not hydrating before? So
what I learned is that I was drinking a lot of water.
Yeah.
But I wasn't getting enough electrolytes in my system to actually.
The salts, right? Is that what?
Sodium, magnesium, potassium, some other shit.
What
But
do they do?
but they help you actually. They help your cells retain the water, or like they help your cells to actually hydrate with the water that you're giving your system. So if you just drink water all the time, you're kind of flooding your system, but you're not really really getting the benefit of the water unless you have the minerals to go with it.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, electrolytes are minerals in your blood and other body fluids that carry an electric charge. They affect how your body functions in many ways, including the amount of water in your body.
Right. So I thought I was just doing a good thing and drinking water all day. I was actually slowing myself down because I was just like flooding the system, and it was sort of counteractive. And there is a fine balance. Like your cells need to be hydrated, and they have to have the minerals to help them use the water to hydrate. And then you can overhydrate, you can underhydrate. There's like a sweet spot. But anyways, you're not going to do it really at all without the electrolytes. And I kind of put this all together not too long ago when, first off, I always have low blood pressure. Whenever I go in for do a little blood panel, the nurses they always take your blood pressure, and they always tell me, they always point it out when they do mine. They're like, oh, wow, yours is really low. And I'm like, is that bad? Should I be worried? You're like, no. I'm like, well, why'd you say it? She's like, yeah, like you kind of don't like, you can't say things like that in that tone in a doctor's office like that.
Awareness of
yeah.
That's weird. You have really low.
Yeah, you can't say, like weird. You don't use those words in a doctor's office unless it's serious and you're about to like tell me that I need to make some major change in my life or I'm going down. So anyways.
Are you going to hell?
Actually the last time she's like, now they're like, the two ladies are like trying to figure out like, why is his blood pressure? They're like, do you run a lot? I'm like, no. I'm like, I mean, I do cardio, but like, I'm not like a runner. They're like,
Well, you have a bike, no?
Yeah, but I don't use it much. But they go, are you married? I'm like, no. They're like,
They did not.
Yeah. They did. They're like,
really?
Are you married or have kids? I'm like, nope. They're like, oh, okay, that's fine. I'm like, this is like the medical talk that's going on to figure out, like, this is the kind of questions that are like, I don't know. Anyways.
Why?
Well,
why?
it's environmental questions, right? Like you want to know what the...
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess they're surveying. Yeah. Can't blame them. But I brought this up. I was doing a shoot not too long ago with a model who is a fitness model, and she's like super ripped, right? Like this chick's in amazing shape. Like her muscles are bigger than mine, and she is like 0% body fat. And she also happens to be a nurse that works for a cardiologist. Okay, so I was like, oh, this is the perfect person to like, ask about my low blood pressure. Like, why would I care? I had recently gone to Dr. ChatGPT, and I asked it if.
Are you serious?
Wait, do you really ask ChatGPT?
Yeah, about my low blood pressure.
Sense because they read the medical studies as well.
Oh, they're passing the medical exams better than they're acing them. Yeah.
Huh.
Listen, you're not going to need to like pay for advice.
No, because the information is there. It's outside. It exists.
Yeah. What? Actually, do you guys know that now you can just talk to, if you pay for ChatGPT, you can just talk to it and have a conversation in real time?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he showed me the other day.
Watch this.
It's wild.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask it
why you're
about
low blood pressure.
What are some reasons I have low blood pressure, and should I be concerned?
Low blood pressure, also known as hypotension, can have various causes. Here are some reasons for low blood pressure. 1. Dehydration. Not drinking enough water can cause a significant drop in blood pressure. Dehydration can be due to excessive sweating, diarrhea, or insufficient fluid intake. 2. Heart conditions. Problems like a low heart rate, heart valve problems, or heart attack can lead to low blood pressure. 3. Endocrine problems. Conditions like hypothyroidism, adrenal insufficiency, and diabetes can influence your blood pressure. 4. Medications. Some medicines, such as diuretics, beta blockers, and some types of antidepressants, can lead to low blood pressure. 5. Pregnancy. The circulatory system expands during pregnancy, which can cause a drop in blood pressure. 6. Infections. Septicemia or sepsis is a severe and life-threatening condition that can cause a sudden and significant drop in blood pressure.
That's surprisingly low.
It's going to be the whole podcast.
Essential vitamins like B12 and folic acid can cause anemia.
All right.
Okay, so watch
They
this.
say a lot of shit. How
Should I be concerned? Wait. Should I be concerned or what, man?
I'm sorry if that was overwhelming.
It was.
In simpler terms, there are many reasons for low blood pressure, like dehydration.
Okay, anyways, you get the point. All right. So
simple
I went on there, and I'm like, well, I'm not pregnant, and I don't have diarrhea, and I'm not whatever else it said, the other 100 reasons. But I was like, the water thing, interesting. And I said, what can you do to offset it? And it said one of the main things was supplement electrolytes. I was like, okay. Now, I actually didn't make any change due to that yet. But then I talked to this model, and she's like, oh, yeah, I have low blood pressure, too. That's why I drank this all the time. And she had Gatorade Zero. I was like, oh, what do you, like you drank one a day? She's like, no, I don't drink water. This is literally all I drink. I'm like, wow, okay. And now also she works out a lot, so she's sweating a lot. So on top of having naturally low blood pressure, she's also sweating her ass off all the time because she works out like a fiend. So I was like, oh, well, I don't want to have like pallets of Gatorade in my place. Let me see if there's just like a solution that's just a concentrated electrolyte solution.
Isn't there more like, isn't there like 40 grams of sugar and
Gatorade Zero? No, in Gatorade Zero, there's no, that's why she was using zero, because it's no sugar. But it has like fake sugar. I forgot what kind. It's not good.
It
really.
has like all kind of fake sugar. No, how good is that for you?
So I don't do that. It's not good for you. So there's some that are worse than others. Like if you're using, I'm not no doctor here. So consult your ChatGPT on yourself. But
For a self-diagnosis.
But going off of version 4.0, so I go on Amazon. I find this electrolyte solution that's just, it's not flavored, and it's just potassium, magnesium, sodium, blah blah blah.
Okay.
And I order that. It's funny. It actually, they go into hair and makeup for the shoot, and when we were walking downstairs, or before we walked out the door, my Amazon package came with my electrolyte solution. I was like, hey, I got my solution. She's like, the fuck? I'm like, yeah, I ordered it when we talked about it. So anyways, I put it in my little bottle, and it makes it taste kind of salty and a little like minerally, a little bit off. Nothing crazy. If I didn't tell you, you probably wouldn't think about it. You'd be like, oh, this is Dasani.
Right.
So then I put a little lemon juice in it to just like
Spice it up.
Yeah, give it a little zest, if you will. And actually, I recently upgraded my formula. I buy these little things called what's the name of it? It's not Squirt. It's something like that. But it's
the little tasting
yes,
thing.
Mio.
The Mio.
It's like Mio. So Mio has also the shit fake sugars in it. Okay.
All right.
So the one that I found, I forget what it's called. You can get it at grocery store. It's next to Mio, but it's the most like natural version of a water enhancer flavor. So I got the lemon one, and then it actually tastes like a nice light lemonade that I drank. But I'm getting electrolyte in every time I go and drink out of because I keep a couple bottles filled up in the fridge, and that's what I just drank from throughout the day. And I didn't need a nap, like for like 2 weeks straight. I would like.
You felt like your energy was better.
I was sleeping better.
Nice.
I was having better workouts, and prior to this too, for the very first time in my life, because I think my blood pressure was getting a little lower and lower.
But what does that mean though? What does it do? Like, are you gonna have?
It means like
energy?
I'm super chill.
Well, yeah, I know that.
Yeah. Well, it does. Yeah, you'll have lower energy, for sure. And also, this never happened to me until just before I found this electrolyte solution. A couple times at the gym, I'm having these like sluggish workouts. I'm like, oh my God, I can't get out of this funk. And this was just like I don't know how long, but I could say for sure the last 6 months noticeable, but it was probably just a slow buildup. And I'd get up from some machine where I'm maybe like a leg press, and all of a sudden I'm like about to pass out. I'm like, oh shit. And I like hold on to a machine because I was so lightheaded from going low to standing up. On top of just like, these were like the worst workouts I ever had, like just tired, you know? So I started taking the electrolytes, and I mean, literally like from the next day, I'm like, oh my God, I think this has been missing in my diet, like majorly. And I get a meal prep. So I do like delivered meals. And I think with those is that they don't like really put salt. They don't do anything much to them. It's kind of like you can if you want.
Oh,
but
really?
they sort of like
Very
leave it
clean.
pretty,
That's
basic.
not good. Really? You don't?
Yeah,
you don't
and
like-
I never add to it. So I'm like getting like none of that in my diet. So now I'm now just I mean, it's in everything that I drink now. So
Wait, are the spice the minerals that's how you get the minerals or no?
well, you'll get it from things like dark greens and stuff like that. But my delivery is not fresh stuff. It's like already cooked, so they don't put those kinds of things in it. So I'll get vegetables, but it'll be like broccoli that's already cooked or some weird, something weird. I don't know. I'm not getting enough of it.
Is it good though, like the service or no?
For me, yes. I do lunch and dinner for like 5 days a week. And then some people will say, but I like to cook. I'm like, well, do you like to cook every day? You could do meal prep for 3 days of the week and just like take a little load off of your week, right?
Yeah.
I like, so my morning routine is like very slow. I get up slowly. It takes me like an hour to get out of bed.
7 minutes to
Yeah.
do your hair.
Yeah, 7.5 minutes. That's if I really like want to go full into a day. But I like to kind of just putter around in the morning. I like my mornings to be slow and about
You
me.
start your day calm.
Yeah. I'll get to everybody else after I get to like enter the world peacefully, right?
What time is that?
Like 1, 2. Like by the time I'm done with everything. So I don't do, but I'm a night owl. So I'll get up at
You
like
edit.
10. Yeah, I'll get up at like 10, and then I'm going to make my bed. I'm going to go dust the counters, clean up the little cat litter area, vacuum with my little Dyson. What else? Check the cat's water supply. Maybe I gotta, I don't know, clean off the balcony or something. I don't know, whatever. I'll do my little things.
Yeah.
I take my little, I have this crazy little morning concoction that's just turned into more supplements over the years. It's like, God, I think there's like 12 things in it now. Anyway, so I got to take out all these little containers, and I put little scoops in, and I make this crazy shake thing. It tastes nasty. It's the worst part of my day, but I like to get it. If the worst part of your day is at the beginning,
Then it's okay.
rest of the day is a breeze.
I know.
Yeah.
That's why I work out in the morning.
Yeah, so I drink this nasty shit. Then I cook this breakfast that is like very, I think, healthy. It's a bunch of veggies. I put them on the frying pan, put in some egg whites, couple whole eggs, then like shred a little cheese on it, avocado, a little tomato, little spices and shit. And then I have my nice breakfast, my coffee. I do slow. It's like I grind it, I weigh it, it's pour over. It's a whole
process.
Yeah, it's like takes forever. It's like 3 p.m. by the time like half of my day is gone.
Time to do some work.
Yeah, and then I'm like, all right, now time to see what's on YouTube for a minute.
Guys, that's 9 hours morning routine.
Yeah, so 7 hours later, I'm like, time to check emails. Unless I have a shoot, but my shoots start at like 1, and they do hair and makeup, and then I don't have to be involved in that, so I can kind of like go back to making my breakfast or whatever, and yeah.
What do you do? So you get to the shoot before, or like?
Oh
how
no,
does that-
they come to me.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
they got to come to me. It's part of the deal. So I
Why
have
do you do
a
it that way.
well, okay. First of all, I should
Clarify.
not expect that everybody knows what the fuck I'm talking about with shoots, like, and what that means exactly. Because if, let's say I'm shooting for a client, like a brand, then if you break down what I do, the majority are shoots where, say, a model hires me to shoot them for their portfolio. So that's called a test shoot. A test shoot just means there's no product involved. Basically, it's just a portfolio shoot. Now Now, there's a lot of photographers that do what I do as a hobby, and they might like do testing for free or collabs. We would say if it's a free shoot, that's kind of like, hey, do you want to do a collab? Or hey, I have this collab today. It's like, that just implies it's like a free shoot. There's no money exchange in it, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Like we're doing now, like kind of.
Right. This is like a collab podcast.
Oh,
right.
I hate this word.
Yeah. I do too. It means free. So, but like if I do a test shoot, I do paid testing. So like you go on my website, you see my rates. It's like $11.50, but $150 goes to the makeup, $1,000 goes to me. You get 10 retouched photos. I'm going to shoot you for several hours. Like, and what they do is they come to me. I have a whole setup at my place, like a whole vanity setup for hair and makeup. Makeup artist meets, model meets. They take that whole back room, do their thing for like 2 hours. Then I also have a ton of swimsuits, and I'm now kind of like synonymous with swimwear photography. Nobody hires me and says, hey, love your stuff, but I want to like shoot this dress I have. Like, they just know what they're signing up for at this point, which is great. I love that. Like back in the day, I was shooting everything.
Yeah.
You have to, you know, like you gotta explore, right?
And it's not a bad thing to be known as. Like
no, but it's. I think it's important over time, and not necessarily just for photography, but to. I think when you start something, you should sort of try everything. Find the thing that. You know, it's like if you can find that perfect intersection of something you enjoy doing, people will pay you for and the world needs, right? That's like, it's the ultimate. So I did shoot a little bit of everything. I shot weddings early on. I probably shot like a baby or something, jewelry, just like product alone, cars, events, club events, like nightlife shit, everything. Like, I would just shoot all of it. And if I didn't know it and I hadn't done it yet, I would watch some tutorial beforehand and just do a crash course and then just go like.
Try it out.
Yeah. And early on, like when you're not getting paid that much, it's good because there's not really that much pressure. So.
You take what, yeah.
Yeah.
Just the photo you have is.
Yeah. Now, the thing is, I have an expectation to meet every time. So if I was like all over the place, there's no way I could be amazing. You know, I'd be a jack of all trades, master of none, right? The riches are in the niches, right? So swimwear became my thing. And that was not like something I set out to do. It was because I lived in Orlando when I got into photography. And up there, I was shooting like out in fields, and, you know, the models would wear like jeans and little flannel shirts and shit. You know, it was like, whatever. You could picture the stupid photos, like in your head as I say it. Like you've seen that before.
Grew up there, yeah.
Yeah. So, then I was like, I want to start shooting the agency models that are down in Miami, and I would come down here because I grew up here, so I could stay at my parents' house or stay with a friend for a weekend, and then set up some shoots with some of the agency models. But then when I would come down here, like up in Orlando, I had my little home studio. So if you shot with me, we'd probably do a combination of some like a studio look. Then we would go drive out to this cool abandoned barn location that I found and used to shoot at all the time. And when I would come down here, I didn't have a studio. I didn't have any cool parks or whatever to shoot in, but the beach was like the obvious free location that also, like, I grew up on the beach. I love it. I'm like, this is a win-win for me. I'm like, I'm at my favorite place to be and doing this hobby that I love, right? So, and I think that the camera sort of looks both ways. So when you're excited about it, it comes out way better. You know, when you're enjoying the process, it comes out way better. So my photos, and I think...
Why do you think that is, though?
Well, because, okay, hey, Joey, we make bottle tops. We need you to shoot them. Like, I don't give a fuck about your bottled caps or whatever, but, like, sure, I'll shoot it. I'm not excited about it. I'm not, like, I don't appreciate the bottle cap enough to, like, think it's sexy and know that, like, oh, this is the angle. Because when I look at a bottle cap, that's what I like to see. Like, if you're into cars... And you're looking at multiple different ways and willing to take a bit more risk. Yeah, right? The guy that's really into sports cars knows that, oh, the new Porsche, the back end of it, they did this, or the taillights, and they know the angles that are like the, it's like they just understand it on a deeper level to show it off better. And
it's a sense of like intimacy, right? Like you.
Yeah, and it's almost like you kind of want to shoot, like you kind of want to like.
Your pride.
Not kind of. You want to love the photo that you're taking. I mean, that's the best case scenario.
Of course.
So when you're like shooting somebody else's baby, it's probably good that you're just like
the baby.
This woman that loves babies. I love babies.
Yeah.
You're going to be a great baby photographer.
Right.
Right?
Don't molest the baby, though.
That's why, like, you don't have some creepy old dude be the baby photographer. It's like, what? Why most, it's all women that work in daycares, you know? Like,
yeah.
We don't trust the guys to do it. Like, so, there's, or let's say, generally speaking, women are more into their wedding than, the bride is more into their wedding day than the groom.
Oh, but that makes sense.
He's like doing it because she wants it. Like, yeah, he's gonna. But for the most part, like when I shot weddings, I shot a wedding. It was kind of funny. It was the groom's second marriage, but it was the bride's first marriage. So she was so like happy.
The guy didn't care.
And then I went over to him. I was like, "Hey, man, can I get a picture of you like in front of that window right there?" He goes, "Nah." I was like, "Really?" He goes, "No, I don't care. I don't want it." I was like, "All right." He didn't give a shit about this wedding because it's like he's just going through the motions. Yeah. It's not exciting to him.
Do you still like her, or do you still love her? The guy,
I'm sure he did. I have no idea. I have no idea.
Okay, you don't know like them. You don't know like that.
Well, I probably shot 20 weddings like total in my time.
Okay.
But like mostly at the beginning of my photography. Like I haven't shot a wedding in years and don't plan to. If you see me shooting weddings, something went horribly wrong.
Try to find another source.
Yeah, I'm like swimwear market tanked. But what was my point about that? So shooting what you like, right? So if you are like a hopeless romantic that just loves the idea of marriage and you want to get married someday, and every time you see a wedding, it tears you up, like you probably love being in that environment, and oh my God, these are the flowers. I want to do flowers like that someday. And then you're like taking pictures of the flowers as if it was your own, and like you're putting together your Pinterest board for your future wedding.
Right. That
person's going to be they're going to be in it more. Now, I think I did pretty good with weddings. I think I shot them well. But again, like I didn't care that, like me personally, I don't even think marriage is like that special anymore. It's like, it's not what it used to be. Right. So I don't know, in my head, I'm a little like not that interested in weddings in general. And actually having shot weddings, it made it kind of worse because I got to see sort of how much of a little production it is. So when you're kind of in the backstage of the wedding and it's the people in the kitchen prepping food and stuff, and they're like, when's this fucking thing over? It's like, oh shit, good, it's almost 11. And they're just talking about it like it's like, we got our set up for tomorrow. It's like we're on repeat and it's the same thing the next day. And they're like, get these people out of here. All right, jeez.
Yeah, I photographed this was a long time ago. I don't do this anymore, but I photographed a wedding that was on it was for a TV show. So there was a whole production crew and everything.
Really?
And they made them kiss like over and over for the right shot, or walk down the aisle over and over, and then of course the guests are getting like super upset because it's all for TV.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just.
Oh, that seems so.
It just felt so.
Yeah.
The going backstage in a wedding made it just seem so much more commercialized, even though I already know it is. But it just, you kind of want to be a little like blind to that side of things, in order to hold on to the idea of it being special. Right? It just strips it away a little bit. I don't know.
There's some photographers that do it. Maybe it's like more intimate. They do it. It's their thing. They do it really well.
Yeah, of course.
Well,
but that's the thing. There's people that put on a show, and there's just people that live the moment.
Yeah,
I think. Do you think so? Like, I can't believe everyone that gets married always like put on like a play or whatever.
Well, no. What you described was rare because there was a show involved. Normally, the couples and the family, they're all into it.
Yeah.
But when you're kind of on that, like, where you can go backstage and you can cross that, like, that fourth wall, sort of, right?
Right.
It's like if you sat and watched a play, but then they took you back and you kind of saw the chaos behind the stage and this and that, and you were like, during the play, you were going backstage, coming out front. It would ruin the play for you a little bit. it just you would kind of forget about the story that's supposed to be happening out here, and now you'd be thinking about like how it's made, and then they're resetting for tomorrow's play, and now like
Yeah.
Unless you're really into it, but you definitely it's
Unless
long
you
hours.
like that part of that, unless you can appreciate maybe that part of it too, because for it to be great out there.
Yeah, maybe I'm just bitter or something. I don't know.
No. I mean, you've found like what you like and what you don't like, and it's weddings are long hours, and what you're describing is.
I'll tell you another key thing about what I like specifically about, because I get the very obvious things. Oh, you love like hot women, like. Okay.
No,
that's cool.
Love bikinis, right?
Love bikinis. I just have always just been sniffing them my whole life. Just kidding. No, but I'll tell you this, because remember the swimwear thing had more to do with the location access that I had available, and the fact that like I like the location. I wouldn't want to be a New York photographer because I'd be shooting in studio all day, and I just find that very boring.
Right.
You like being outside.
I do. Well, like I don't even go to the beach on my own, even though I live 10 minutes from the beach. And I'm always happy when I go out on a shoot. I'm like, oh man, I'm glad I have my job that makes me come here. Yeah. Right? It's like, and I'll like say that I'll express that out loud on a shoot. I'm like, isn't it like this is a beautiful day? I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
I should come here on my day off, but I don't. But so what? I come here more than most people because of what I do.
Do you think you don't go on your day off because you know you're going to go anyway?
No, I don't go to the beach just to go sit around and get sun. I used to go all the time. So when I was younger, I used to skimboard all the time with my friends. Like, so I had friends that we were all into that. When there was a little swell, we go surfing. When I lived in Orlando, we would go to Coco and go surf, like on the weekends. So I like doing things in the water. I like doing activities, and those aren't activities that are that fun to do on your own. So I don't really have like that community anymore to do those things. So I don't just go to the beach and like sit down, do nothing. I don't know. I find that boring. But if I'm there shooting, remember I do love photography. I think it's fun. I'm out there, like I'll just use Sunday as an example. I had to shoot on Sunday. Never met this girl in my life, and she shows up for hair and makeup. Very nice. I booked this shoot like pretty last minute, and just like I'm hanging out with a cool person. We drive to the beach. I'm like, learning about a new person, and then we go out on the beach, and then I'm doing a little problem solving, because I'm like, okay, because after we did hair and makeup, we go through swimsuit choices. I have like bags of swimsuits now. The brands just send them to me over the years, so I
was curious about that too.
Yeah,
like
so I just dump them out. I mean, and I have a ton that I don't even go through anymore because they're just old and they've been just used a bunch of times. So I kind of stick with the newer stuff. But I put out probably 30, 40 options, right? And they're like in little bags. I'm like, all right, pick out what colors you like. And then you're going to take your time, try these on. When you find something that you like, come out, show me. I'll tell you what I think. So we do like a little.
Nice. So they're comfortable in the suit that they're wearing, and it's their.
Oh yeah.
decision.
So that's part of the
that.
My little shoot day for a test shoot. Remember, we're not talking about shooting for brands. That's like a different thing if I'm doing a campaign.
Of course.
But for test shoots, which is the majority of my shoots, it's like the one that pays the least, but it's the one that's the most reoccurring. The brands are the bigger shoots, like bigger paycheck, but they happen less often. So there's just a mix of all that. And then like I do my workshop every year, and I have other things. I have a tutorial online, and so I'm kind of all over the place. I have a digital magazine I sell. Like I do some stuff that just can earn money in my sleep.
And you
right?
do Twitch on Monday nights?
I do Twitch on Mondays. That keeps me nice and connected to my photography community, which is great, because if I do workshop once a year, well, I don't want to just go radio silent for 12 months or for 9 months until I start selling the workshop again. It like keeps me in touch with the people that are most, and I'm having real conversations with them. And now when somebody's like, hey Joey, what do you think? I'm like, hey, listen, go on my Twitch on Mondays. I will give you a full explanation in real time rather than a half-assed text, because I'm in a rush. And other people will learn from that at the same time. So instead of me just wasting my little half answer to you that only you learn from, I can let other people learn at the same time. They'll even chime in. It's just way more interactive.
So it's not just your work that you're going through. Like you invite people to send you theirs. Is that
okay.
right,
So what I do at Twitch is basically I go on live and I just like work on whatever I have to work on at the time. So last night I went through the photo shoot from Sunday, and they got to see me which this would have been cool if I was a young photographer.
Oh yeah.
And I got to see the guy that I looked up to. Like, I want to see your whole shoot. I've seen the final ones, but I want to see like Do you take a lot of crap photos like I do? Like how many crap photos do you take? Yeah, these are things that like are mysteries as you're coming up. It's like, do I suck because it takes me 1,000 photos to get 10? No, you don't suck. That's what I do. You see like 1% of my photos are edited. Because
let's say you asked me to choose a bunch of photos,
right?
When we were at your place, and you wanted to get it down to
exactly
a number that you're gonna edit.
So this shoot I did on Sunday, I shot 1,000 photos, like just about 1,000 photos. I narrowed it down to 150 that I felt were good to send her as proofs. She's picking 10 that are part of the package, and then I edit those 10. So you see 1% of the photos. It doesn't mean that 99% were shit. But 90% were like kind of crap. 10% were good that she could have picked from pretty much any of the ones I sent her, and it'd be a nice pile. Now it's just like her preference.
It's just preference at the end. Yeah.
Actually, she messaged me. This is like exactly the text you want.
Is that the one you posted yesterday?
Yes, it's the one I posted yesterday, which was. Since I don't like to toot my own horn, I'll let this text do it. She wrote to me yesterday about our shoot on Sunday. Hey, Joey, I just left a review for you. Already referring you to my friends. Truly love how you run your business. Thank you so much for yesterday. One of my favorite shoots to date. I cannot wait to see these images. Truly appreciate your time and effort you put in. Have a great night. Sincerely, Casey. Okay, then I responded, and then I sent her the photos today, the proofs. And she said, I have already favorited 50 images. They look absolutely amazing. If you can let me know your faves whenever you can to help me decide for my book, I would truly appreciate it more than you know. Thank you so much again. So she found 50 that she was happy with out of there.
Which is
like,
great.
That's awesome. I was like, well, this is a great problem to have. I said, go through it with fresh eyes tomorrow. See if you can narrow it down a little more yourself. And then I'll come in and help you from there. So that's the perfect little outcome of a shoot. It's like, I want you to feel like you had not an overwhelming amount of options to go through, but you also don't want to feel like they have too few. I used to think that by like sending you a lot, I was doing you a favor. And I sent it to this this agency I did a shoot for like years ago in Orlando. And the lady who ran the agency was also kind of like, she was the owner, but / booker. So anyways, I sent her the photos and she's like, hey, do me a favor next time. Can you not send me so many photos? This is like homework, you know?
It's overwhelming.
How
and
many-
I'm like,
how many did you send?
yeah, I thought I was doing a good thing. Like probably 400, 500 photos.
Oh.
Now, but I thought like, oh, I'm sending her half of the shoot roughly, or a third of the shoot. Like,
And
no.
sometimes people probably ask for more too. I'm sure maybe
I've found my sweet spot, which is like 10% of the shoot. And also like, if let's say there's some look I shot that I want to give them at least like 20 photos to look through for a look. Because I do 5 looks in my test shoot, right?
Okay.
What does it look mean?
Like
The outfit.
like the green bikini, that's one look.
Oh, okay.
And the blue bikini was a second look, right? So out of those 5 looks that's like a part of my package. We shoot up to 5 looks, right? So and I always get through the 5. And
Of course.
yeah, because I bring a flash. I'm like, if we get problems like where we're taking long because maybe I got to coach you because there's different levels of models that I shoot, and some I have to really like tell them exactly what to do, and some kind of flow on their own, and I just lightly direct, right? I can shoot like the last look at night if we have to, and it'll look cool. So it's I could finish by sunset, I could go into nighttime, and yeah. So anyways, I have little like backup options for. So I was gonna say that. What was I gonna say? What was I just talking about?
You were talking about the different looks, how many photos we send.
Yes. Oh, so what you don't want to happen is when somebody's like, "Hey, were there any more from the blue bikini look?" Because they didn't like any of the ones you sent. So you might have known that, like, all right, even though I shot 50, these 10 were like the only good ones. But like, I kind of also know that if I only send these 10, she's gonna be like, "Oh, was that it?" And the reality might be like, yeah, that was it, because you kind of like the poses were a little off or something was off. Like it just didn't hit. And so I'll still send, at least 20 total, even though I know 10 of those like are not going to get selected. It just shows her that like now that there's these 10 like kind of like a little bit crappier photos, the 10 that I would have just sent had I just been being like, these are the Joey approved photos, she would have wondered if there was more,
Right.
but I'll sort of prove it, right? So I kind of know.
So you have to go a little bit more to
Yes.
prove that there's no more photo, because obviously you would send the best photos. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then if there's a couple that sucks, then
Yeah, and
she
if you
knows.
only looked at 10, you would have been like, oh, that's it. And if you didn't absolutely love one of those 10, but if I showed you 20, now those 10 look good next to those other shit 10.
when do you stop? Like how much proof do you feel like you need to send?
Again, it's just that sweet spot of knowing that each look you have enough options to feel like you got to see a little bit of everything that you remembered shooting. You know,
Okay.
I try not to. In fact, that's an important thing. That if I'm shooting and I'm like, I have an idea. I think this will look cool. If it doesn't look cool right away, like then just cut it. Don't beat it to death, because if I spent a little too long on it, she's gonna remember us shooting that spot, and then if I didn't send those proofs, she's gonna be like, "Where's the stuff from the?" And then I gotta
maybe some look cool.
admit to failure, you know. So I just need to use my eyeballs
Right.
and say this doesn't
Doesn't
nah.
work.
I thought this was gonna work. Never mind. Let's move on, and then get out of there.
How did you learn to do that? Trial and error?
Because there were the times where I like forced it and just couldn't throw in the towel and shot there for 10 minutes and it was all crap, and and then moved on, and then they're like, and then I don't send those photos, and they're like, where's those photos from the part where we spent like time, you know, like they're not gonna say that
direct
specifically,
with
but they're gonna be like,
what's the amount of time you're gonna get?
if I'm not feeling it within like a few shots, and like move on. That's kind of yeah. And sometimes I'm wrong. I might think that like this is okay. If I could give a little like, what's the most basic way to take a good photo is of a person, we should say. Number one, the most important thing is lighting, right? Like I need to be seduced by good lighting over a cool background. Okay.
That's why you brought this.
Right.
So you look cool.
See, I look cooler now with that light,
I don't.
but fuck this wall, right? It's not that important.
No.
But if I look shit and the wall look good, I still look like shit.
Yeah.
And I'm the subject. Like I should get like preferential lighting and aesthetics.
The hero
right?
of the shot.
Yes.
right? Yeah.
So the subject
Yeah.
is number one.
Yeah.
Has to have like crappy lighting on a model with an amazing backdrop. Just then get rid of the model and take the picture of the scene. You're better. That's a better photo.
That's true.
Okay, so let's say I go out on the beach and here's the sun, and honestly, like, if the sun was off to the side, and I do like what would be called like split lighting, it's like hitting from one half.
More
that-
dramatic.
That's cool. Yeah, it has a little bit of a dramatic look. There's a lot of shadow in it. I could do it could be backlit where the sun's behind her, and she's gonna be a little more washed out, and that could be cool. They just have different feels to it. Or I can have the just flat lighting right on her, and go with that, and then she'll just pop a lot more. It's not really dramatic.
Which one do you like most?
It's not about what I like most. It's about, okay, well, this was the other part. So let's just say I know those three options. She'll look good. Cool.
Is there other option than those three?
Yeah, you could have a little, like, you could have her mostly shadow with a little like edge lighting, and it'd be extra dramatic, like more shadows than light. Could be more dramatic looking, but effective.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to do the whole shoot like that. I ultimately want each shoot to have a variety.
Right.
So like some of the shots were backlit, some were split, some were. I just don't want to feel like I'm on repeat throughout the shoot.
Okay.
But then let's just say, okay, let's say 3 of these options look really good to my eye, right?
Yeah.
Well, but what if that option 1 behind her is literally a fucking dumpster fire?
Not gonna do that.
So cancel that. Now let's look at option 2 and 3. Option 2 is like looking down the beach, and there's water and sand and the sky, and there's nice clouds, and there's some hotels. So it's like a lot of things going on. Like, okay, that's not a bad scene. And then what if I swing around this way, and now this way is just sand, water, and then in this direction, the sky, there's no clouds, it's just flat. That might look kind of boring. So I'm going to pick the one that's the best combination of has to have good lighting on the subject, but also I always think of it as like this. You still have 4 corners to fill, right? So it's kind of like combining a portrait photo with a landscape photo. And I want the best combination of those 2 things. but
Okay.
portrait being number one. If it was a boring background in every direction, then I'm just going to choose which one makes her look the best, right? Or
Okay.
let's say option 2, she looks amazing, the background is kind of boring. Option 3, she looks okay, the background is phenomenal. I'm going to go with she looks awesome, the background is okay.
The first one. and
Yeah,
then
so
maybe
it's
you're
like
gonna
it's
try-
kind of like a weighted decision, right?
Right.
That her looking good has is more important than the background, so I'll choose that over the cool background.
Makes sense.
So, yeah, so that's it. It's like finding that little combination. And the other thing is I see when I'm doing my workshop, the photographers that kind of they're the newer photographers or like the most novice, they're just shooting really fast. It's like what they're doing is they're it's funny because there's a lot of things that I do with the camera that are the same with the gun. So rather than having it on automatic and just spray and pray,
Yeah, that's what it's called.
right? It's the same thing that photographers do. They're like, and you cannot even be thinking and processing that fast. You're shooting and then crossing your fingers and hoping something stuck, and then you go back to the computer and then you're like, dang it, and you have all shit in there, right? It's the same
That's
thing.
what I do.
So I tell them, like, look don't be the fucking dumbass stormtrooper that's like, pew, pew, and like not hitting anything. Be the freaking Jedi and just like one shot, poof. But like you took a second and then you sniped it. That's what you should do with a camera. It's like if you stopped to think about like what looks good and slow down, that's probably the thing that as I got better over the years, I just slowed down. So I actually take less photos the better I get. Because I just see it. It's like right in front of me, especially not shooting in a studio. Studio's different because you're shooting with a strobe, so you sort of have to test the light and then go look at it on the screen and see how it came out. So you kind of have to like shoot and then check. When I'm shooting with natural light, I get to see, like just like right now,
Right.
we can see how the light looks on me to decide if it's good or not.
Yeah.
Right? But shooting outdoors, it's the same thing. I can just see it. I don't need to take a picture to test the light. I can just look at you and be like, no, you look like shit right here. Let's move. Sucks.
So are you shooting all natural light?
Like 99% of the time, yeah.
Really?
So when I do a campaign, okay, so
Yeah.
now we move into a little other area. So let's say some
Dude,
brand
before you
hires
go
me.
there,
Yeah.
I need to pee.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Break.
All right. It's like a tiny house.
Yeah, no, it's nice, and we're back. Oh, dude, sorry.
It's okay.
Can I have more water, baby?
Yes.
Nice.
I'm going to gift you a little electrolyte solution.
Oh yeah, please,
Yeah.
please.
A little lemon squirt.
I want to buy one of your shirt too.
You know what? I'm about to get more made, so I'll make you one. You don't have to buy it.
Nice.
Yeah. I give them to my friends.
Cool.
Yeah. My buddy wears his in Costa Rica. It's like one of my best friends. And what does he call it? It's like Golden Boy. He says it's his Golden Boy, which is a reference to Seinfeld. I guess he had this shirt that like he had forever, and he called it his Golden Boy.
Yeah.
It's like, Joey, I need a new Golden Boy.
Is the go-to shirt is the
Yeah.
one that you wear the most.
Yep.
It's the thing. Fucking Seinfeld.
The
What were you
best.
saying? Oh, it was very good.
I think we were about to talk a little bit about campaign shoots.
Yeah.
That was like
yeah.
it's like another little different area, and that's
You
where
do a lot of those.
yeah. Well, so I kind of have like my busier season. That all happens in like the first half of the year, for the most part.
Okay.
Because Miami is pretty dead during the summer. Nobody wants to shoot down here. It's too hot. It's too rainy. It's just the weather sucks. So the summer is really like, it is like my summer vacation. It kind of is a time that if I want to travel and go do shit, like I'm leaving Sunday, I'm going to Mexico for a week for this Swimsuit USA pageant. That will be interesting. But I'm just going as like essentially a guest photographer, so I'm not like a staff person. So I don't really have any pressure. It'll be more of a vacation to me with like a little shooting as I want.
So it's the coolest. You get to go just because you're known to do that, and they think you're gonna take good photos.
Yeah, I mean, I still have to pay for my room and stuff, but yeah, I'm getting a good deal, and like I have no obligations. It's cool. It'll be a fun thing, and I'm also hoping that I can maybe figure out a way, because I do this every year, and there's another event similar that I go to, and I'll do a little mini workshop, and then that pays for the shoot, and then I make content for my digital magazine, and then I come out like a net positive out of a trip that I paid for, so.
International or?
Yeah. This one's it's near Cancun. I'll fly into Cancun. Chris is coming as well.
Oh, cool.
With Lex, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so it'll be cool. I'll have some friends with me, and yeah, we'll be running around. I think there's like 50 models there that are all competing for this title. One of my closest friends, she was Miss Swimsuit USA like 7 years ago or something. So I've known about this for a long time. Like, yeah. I used to shoot a swimsuit pageant for like 6 or 7 years. It was called Tropic Beauty. They don't do it anymore. But they would do little contests throughout the year in all these different cities, and the winners would all go to the World Finals in Vegas. So then there would be 100 models. Yeah, there'd be 100 models competing for the finals. And I can never go back to Vegas because I'll never have the Vegas experience. I got the best Vegas experience possible all those years. And I'll explain why. Because I went once. The first time I went to Vegas was with some buddies, and it was like a bachelor trip or something. And we were 21-ish at the time, early 20s, broke. So, like, us going to dinner, I'm like, oh, my God. Like, how much did that just cost? Like, that kind of stuff, I went and gambled for the first time. I took $100. They're like, yeah, I didn't even know what I was in. They're like, give it to that guy. Okay. And then all of a sudden it's gone. I'm like, what happened? Like, I didn't even do anything. I've never lost $100 so fast. I've hated gambling ever since then. I've never done it again.
I don't like gambling.
I hate it. I'm like,
it's the worst.
It would have been more fun to like look at it on fire. Like if I lit it with a match or something, I would be more involved in losing it, But or like flushing it down the toilet, like wee, and then that would be more enjoyable than just handing it to some guy in a suit and then spinning a thing on the table, and then
that's it.
They're like, next. Like, what? Anyways,
my friend likes to play blackjack though. He was up 60 grand last year.
Yeah, I'm sure if. I mean, I could see how it could be fun, and I did get into poker for a little while, but just like bar poker where there was like no stakes really. It was like some little buy-in or some shit. But I don't like casino gambling, and I also shoot for the Hard Rock in Tampa, and I've been shooting for them for like shooting a calendar basically for them for like shit, I don't know, 8 years or 9 years or something like that. It's been a long gig, and so I've done many shoots in the casino, and I've like spent days in the casino, and we'll shoot like all day, and I'm just like, oh my God, there's these old people are here all day. Like, it's like, it's weird because I also know that there's like people leaving a casino and then like killing themselves because they've just like lost all of their money. And then like that money, like, hey, we need a new sign over the burger place. It's like that sign was like paid for with the life of this old guy. Like, it's kind of weird in there. I don't know. I get these weird feelings in there. Maybe I'm just like morbid, but like,
never gonna look at a casino.
It also provides jobs for a bunch of
I'm
people.
like, look at that chandelier. I wonder how many people had to lose all their life savings, and some of them killed themselves for that beautiful chandelier up there. It's gold. Did you see it? It's gold.
Never looked at a casino.
Because there's like a weird dark side to the casino.
Oh shit! You really hate casinos.
I don't hate it. I can't say I hate it because they're like one of my clients. But no, but my combination of like losing my $100 when I was 21, it's a lot to me. That'd be like losing $100 today. It hurt a lot. Still,
you never financially recovered from it.
Man, I will never financially recover from this. The Tiger King stole that from me.
How cool was Tiger King in 2020?
Oh my God, the best. Free Tiger King. So, okay, so I went on this casino trip or the Vegas trip with the guys, and then it's like 4 of us are like sleeping in a room, and like people on the floor. I mean, you know, we're like glamping basically, like in Vegas, and it just sucked. It was like we got a table, but it was some shit table in the corner, and like I don't know, it just it was goofy, right? I didn't have a great time, and I just felt like okay, that like cost a lot of money for very little fun. Fast forward, get into photography, end up a model that I worked with in Orlando was one of the contestants of this Tropic Beauty pageant, and she was like, Joey, we got to get you out there. It'd be so great if you were one of the photographers. So she was friends with the owner, mentions me to the owner. The owner says, okay, we could use a secondary photographer on this next one. Mm-hmm. So I go out for the first time probably in 2011 or something like that, maybe, yeah, around then. And they ended up like using all my photos for the calendar and not the primary photographer, which was great.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
so
cool.
then the next year, I was the primary photographer, and he became the backup guy, which probably sucked for him. And then, whatever.
Zero, man, zero.
Yeah.
So you got them all.
So then the next year, I was like, let me hire the other guys, right? Let me put my team
Bring your
together.
team.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got
And then then I kind
all
of
the money.
and what she liked, because I became sort of the lead photographer, or like sort of the director of photography as well. So I was starting to like bring on the second person, and then the third, and then by the last year we did it, I had a team of like I think 4 or 5 of us to shoot all the girls. I think it was like 4 primary photographers. And I didn't pick guys that were like less than me. It's not like when you do like think of like a stand-up comedian. They don't want the
No, they want the best
opening
one.
act. They want the opening act to kind of suck, so not suck, but be worse than them, so that they shine.
Yeah. No.
I was bringing out like killers. Yeah, they were awesome. Like I didn't necessarily get the cover shot every year, you know. So it was like we had an amazing like the dream team going and shooting this thing. So then we would split it up, and the 4 of us would each shoot 25 of the models, if my math is correct. So yeah, we'd shoot 25 girls each over 2.5 days. So like 5 in the morning, 5 in the afternoon, 5 morning, afternoon, 5 morning, right? Done. I was there for a week. So my work was done in like 2.5 days.
Oh, cool.
The rest of the trip, I got to live like a hot girl in Vegas because they set up all these incredible, every day there was we're going to the Wet Republic pool party, and we have all the main cabanas that are like $15,000 cabanas for the girls, obviously, right? But
You're there.
you can't get rid of me. Like we're part of the group. I'm one of the gals, essentially. So our little team, and these are like my friends. So I got to be with my friends doing all the stuff that we'll never afford to do in Vegas. The parties at like there's mansions in the hotels, like the MGM and stuff. They have or MGM or Mandalay Bay. I forget which one we stayed at a few years because we did different hotels. We did like MGM, Mandalay Bay. I forget one of the other ones we went to, and one of them, there's like rooms you don't even know about because it's like to get to them, you have to go through these layers of security, and then they're like literal mansions that these high rollers can rent. So it's not some hotel. It's not a big hotel room. It is truly like a mansion. Like you walk in, there's multiple floors. Like you feel like you're in this giant house, but it's like kind of built into the casino, just in a part that nobody ever really sees. And there's like a grand piano in there. There's a butler that comes with it. There's a pool. There's an indoor pool. There's a this, a that. And then like the freaking high roller guys are like taking thousands of dollars of chips and throw them in the water, and the girls and the girls go jumping in after them, you know, in their bikinis and stuff. It was crazy. And then we go to these pool parties during the day. We go to clubs at night. We're like hanging out with like there were celebrities there. That's when like Dan Bilzerian was always there with like his crew and stuff, and we'd be all the tables behind the DJ booth at the best clubs in Vegas. Like again, we'd go to Cirque du Soleil shows. We did like all the other little touristy stuff too. We went to Fremont Street, and I got to do the zip line because they wanted me to like video from one zip line of the girls going down the zip line. So I got to do like everything that the girls got to do. It was awesome. Free food. We got employee cafeteria, like the EDR downstairs, like ice cream all day, whatever. It was awesome. Like
Greatest trip.
yeah, it was the greatest trip. It was free, and I got paid to go. Like I got paid. Had my own room. Like it was incredible. Like I'll never go back to Vegas. It'll never live up to the trip that I got to do for many years, thanks to Amy and Tropic Beauty. It was a very cool trip. So, anyways, yeah, this trip next week is very similar because it's a similar type of pageant. But again, I'm not staff, so I'm not like. I guess I still get to do everything everybody else gets to do. It'll be fun. We'll see. It's a different group, so. But it could be like the new little start of a yearly tradition. Yeah. We'll see. Yeah. But. Yeah, it's fun. This is a very cool. I didn't do a lot of traveling early on in life, and I just kind of had boring office jobs, and I was doing graphic design and photography. I needed an outlet because my jobs were just so just not challenging and not really that creative. My first job outside of college was, I thought I was going in for a graphic design job. Like I wore a suit to the interview. And they all looked at me. It was at a sign shop, and I had this internship for McDonald's up in those big goofy McDonald's up in Orlando, like the giant one, and they're themed. You know they have gourmet McDonald's.
Really?
Have you ever heard of that?
No.
In Orlando, it's like the biggest franchise of McDonald's.
iDrive, probably.
One of them's on iDrive. There's 13 stores up there that are all part of a franchise, which is the biggest franchise of. I believe, at least at the time, it was like the biggest franchisee owner of McDonald's restaurants, I think, in the world, to have that many stores. And they were like big stores, and they would use them as like testing for certain things. So they did stuff there in Orlando that you wouldn't find at any other McDonald's. So they did like gourmet McDonald's where you get like a panini, and there were people behind there wearing like the white chef hats.
Really?
Yeah, it was like very bizarre.
Are they still doing that?
I don't know. I haven't been up there in a while, but my boss. So I used to make the like coupons and stuff that would go out. Like I would design the coupons and just little flyers and brochures and things for those stores, those specific stores.
Yeah.
And my boss would always give me like free vouchers for meals. So me and my roommate like were eating gourmet McDonald's all the time. I don't know if it was good or bad. I'm not really sure. I don't think it's healthy. Gourmet does not mean healthy. It just means like nicer presentation, I guess.
That's true.
I don't know.
That's true. We talked about the other day how cool it must have been to eat at the first McDonald's when it was like actual real food that they were serving.
Yeah, I guess.
I wonder what did it taste like?
Probably like an In-N-Out.
Think so.
Yeah.
In-N-Out's good. It's a shame that we don't have it here.
I don't get all the hype, to be honest.
I like it. Not the fries though. I don't like the fries.
See, I wouldn't even really like care about any French fries in the world enough to like have an opinion about them, you know?
Yeah, but I'm a fatty.
Yeah. Do you know the McDonald's fries they kill you? Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, that's just a fact.
Delicious though.
Yeah, they're really good. They only use a certain kind of potato that it grows long enough so that the fries are nice and long, and then I believe they bleached the potato. I don't know. I learned this on Instagram, and it's probably true.
So good source of truth.
Yeah,
it's very reliable.
You can fact check me, but it's true. Some kind of special potato. I think it's bleached because they don't want any little black spots in it and stuff.
Huh.
They do weird stuff to that. Remember the pink slime they used for the chicken nuggies?
Oh, yeah.
Didn't that
like the sauce?
Pink goop. No.
The pink goop? Yeah.
What is that?
Like
it wasn't real. I think there was like a whole argument that it wasn't real chicken and it was made out of this. I don't know what the goop is.
Basically, at some point, the process of making the chicken nuggies was leaked.
Okay.
And it's like some pink sludge, because it's like all of the fucking chicken. It's like the chicken's like beak and like asshole and all, like everything is grinded up and like
so it
comes out in a pink sludge.
Really?
But I think with like fillers and stuff. Yeah, so that's why it was too. Yeah, it's like a bunch of fillers.
But when you grind chicken, it looks disgusting though. We grinded chicken the other day and it didn't look very.
The pink sludge is different.
Yeah, but it was like not neon pink, but it didn't look right.
It didn't look great.
Yeah.
Well,
But it was
the
good. Though.
McDonald's one.
We made the patties, and it was good.
Well, but this one, the
Here's
McDonald's good.
if anyone ever feels like they got canceled, just remember the pink slime and the fact that McDonald's is still around. They got through it.
They got through it.
Yeah. If you ever get canceled, be like, you know what? This is just my pink slime
phase. We'll get
phase.
past this.
This is my pink slime phase. And if McDonald's, people still eat that, knowing it's killing them, they will eventually like me again.
Yeah. Maybe. It's
Maybe.
delicious though. It is.
It is.
Sometimes, not all the time.
It's weird though when you stop eating it for a really long time.
You don't crave it.
You don't crave it, and then when you do eat it, it fucks you
Crave it
up.
all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, because I eat McDonald's like once every like 5 to 10 years.
Did you know there was sugar in the bread, like a lot of sugar?
Oh yeah, yeah. Bread's shit. Actually, you know what disappointed me when I found out how much sugar is in? Well, not all, but the rice that's in sushi is easier to be really sticky when they put a lot of sugar in it. You know,
No
it
way.
tastes better. Yeah.
Really?
So sushi rice is very sugary.
I wonder if the one beside the
Our
place.
friend, the sushi chef.
Yeah, he's great. He's Japanese guy.
I could be wrong on that. You should fact check me on that too. Actually, just
We're just gonna fact check the whole thing.
ChatGPT. What is the deal with sugar and sushi?
Please ask.
Should I?
Should I? Yeah, let's go.
Okay,
Please ask.
let's give it a shot.
Because this is an interesting question. I've been.
Often added sugar. Yeah, the rice. Which
Is
the
there a
main
lot of
dish.
sugar in sushi rice?
Yes, sushi rice often contains sugar. When making sushi rice,
Oh, God,
it's
here we
seasoned
go.
with a mixture of rice
Here we
vinegar,
go. How long is
sugar,
that?
and sometimes salt. This gives the rice its characteristic flavor, which is slightly tangy and sweet. The exact amount of sugar can vary depending on the recipe or restaurant, but it's one of the main ingredients used to season the rice.
Yeah. So,
Huh.
yeah, sushi not all that healthy.
Do you
If
think
you
it
take
would
out the rice.
taste good with maple syrup?
Do you Canadians put maple syrup on everything?
Well, I just figured it might be a better sugar to use.
That's
than
my
the-
sweetener that I
Yeah.
use
It's
the
for everything.
best.
Yeah.
He made
my
me
dad used to
switch-
be one of the biggest producers of
Really?
maple syrup in the world. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Great egg.
I grew up in on well, how do you say that?
Like
So I grew
a
up all
farm.
my life. We made maple syrup.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
That's
the
fun.
first thing he made me do with my coffee was switch it to have syrup in it.
That's
Oh,
what
yeah.
if I
It's game
do
changer.
sweeten.
It is.
So when I make iced coffee, it's just maple syrup.
Even in hot coffee.
Yeah, it's what I use for
Game
for
changer.
any sweetening in smoothies and stuff. Yeah.
Delicious.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the best.
Yeah. So that's the problem though. I almost never buy it because I always had it.
Yeah.
right? And then I'm like, oh, I need to pay like so much money, and then because my dad used to give me like a bunch of cans.
Wait, how
and
do you
then-
get maple syrup out of the tree?
It's
like-
really cool looking.
You pop this little like thing into the side of the tree and it just starts pouring out like a spout?
Yeah, so it depends. You can do it. You can do it two different ways. Well, so basically you pierce a hole in the tree about
Okay.
this deep.
Okay. 3 inches.
Not the
Two
length
and
of
a
a
half-
knife.
2.5
Not a 7-inch
inch.
knife.
Not okay.
About the size of my
To get to the
2.5
intestines. Got it.
Yeah, to get to the intestine of the tree. So you do that, and then so the first method, the old method, the first one, you put a bucket in there, right? And
Okay.
then the water, the tree water would go into the bucket. Then you would have to go around with a horse or a quad or whatever it is, and have a big tank, and then pour the bucket into
Okay.
the tank and go back to the camp or whatever, and then boil it to make maple syrup. But then now, it's
Oh, you boil it, so you're boiling it to evaporate the water to leave you with the
with
pink sludge.
the sugar. Yeah,
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so the thing that you want to do is, if you don't concentrate the water, so that means it's inverted osmosis that we use to concentrate the sugar amount in the water, right? So you want to get it around 20 to 25%, something like that.
Okay.
And then that way, when you boil it down,
Wait, you put sugar in it?
no,
Oh, okay.
no,
All right, I
the
didn't
water
think
is
so.
already sugar.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
So when you can drink it, and it's a little bit sugary.
Yeah.
And then, but when you drink the concentrated water, then it's more sugary, right? It's about 20% sugar.
It's incredible that a tree just pisses out glucose, or
Yeah.
fructose.
Yeah, it's nice.
Incredible.
But so then you can boil it down, and then depending on how long and so how much sugar you have, it's gonna give the color.
Yeah.
So the lighter the color, the less sugar it's gonna have. But then the more so lighter you're gonna make. That's what we use, right? It's a little bit less tasty, but it looks pretty.
Okay.
When you go darker, then there's more sugar, it's more concentrated, but it's a little bit more. It's darker, so it looks less pretty.
Wow.
But essentially now, what the cool thing is you have. So you have the camp, and then you have all of the forest. Right?
Yeah.
So you want to have highways of of tubes. So it's plastic tubes about like this size or a little, sometimes bigger, but the 1 inches tube. That's gonna be kind of the highways that you're gonna be able to reach all of the trees. Think about like roads.
Yeah.
It's the same. So you're gonna have highways. You're gonna have boulevard. You're gonna have smaller roads, right?
Why do maple trees in particular produce this amazing sweet
No idea.
juice, this tree blood?
No idea.
But like a palm tree is just shit juice. Like what's the deal with maple trees?
I don't know.
ChatGPT, was it? Interesting.
No, but yeah, it was very fun. I got to work with my dad. I got to work with family. I was outside. I was alone. I was just listening to music when we were, because that's the thing. It depends what time of the season it is, right? Because you have to prep. You go through everything, every part, every year. So at first, you need to check that the tubes are good, because if you have holes in them, then you're gonna lose pressure. And then the way it works, right? You record everything, then you have suction into the tube. So you connect all of the trees to the pump, and then you pump the water to the main camp.
Oh wow.
It kind of looks like there's just the trees have a ton. I mean, blue was the most common color. So
it's like a bunch
blue
of tree catheters. It's like a weird.
Yeah.
That's
like
a
a
good description.
They're plugged in. Yeah.
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 It's kind of creepy looking. I know. I just picture like a bunch of old people all hooked up to catheters, walking around a little like. They're all dying. Are these trees healthy though? Like with yeah.
So there's ways. So because when you drill the hole, right, you have. So there's about 1 feet. There's going to be a line in the tree about 1 feet. That's going to be dead. That's going to be dead part tree. But it's not very large. So it's just like about maybe an inch to that.
Yeah.
So what you want to do is you want to put the hole at strategic place, so you don't. So first of all, you want the tree to give you water, right? Because if you pierce in a dead place, then you're not gonna get any water, because the tree is dead there. So you want to pierce in a healthy vein,
right?
Got it.
Whatever. So you're gonna have the water, but you still want to keep the trees. So you want to pierce where the tree is gonna handle, regenerating.
Huh.
This word.
But over time, you're kind of.
But it depends, because the tree grows, so it gets bigger, and then so you have more spot, and then so the thing is that you want to allow the tree to be a certain size, right? So it's big enough so you don't kill it after a few years.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Because if you kept just sucking it dry, it's like some dude that had sex too many times and he's just drained his balls.
I
right?
don't think that works like that.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of something.
How many times that is though?
I don't know, like 4 times.
4 times?
In like 12 hours. It'd be a lot.
So there's a really good documentary on maple syrup.
Really?
It's it was
There's an episode of
the Great
in
Canadian.
Dirty Money,
It's on Dirty Money. It's the Great Canadian Maple Heist.
the heist.
Is there a little like a black market?
Well, not a black market, because the
are people killing each other? Is there like a mob scene?
Kind of. Yeah.
Wow.
The mob is the government.
Those sons of bitches.
There's supply control of maple syrup in Canada and in Quebec. There's supply control. That's why we went so early 2000. It was still early, so my dad was one of the biggest. We had, I think, 190,000 trees, whatever, in the in the farm or whatever. And then because of automation and things like that, we so the operation became bigger.
Okay.
But the problem with Quebec is the government release a certain amount of new trees that you can harvest each year, and then that's distributed between the member of the association. Basically, you have to be, if you want to sell in bulk, you have to be a member of the association. Otherwise, you have to sell in. I think it's
the
like
fuck. Okay, how can you put all these rules on trees?
No, it's bullshit. This
is
I
insane.
Think do they, correct me if I'm wrong, but do they withhold like a certain
yeah,
amount?
that's the craziest part. So like the crazy thing is you have to sell to them, and then they'll keep. I think it's like 30% or 40% or whatever the amount they'll keep in reserve. So they don't pay you. They don't pay you for this one, by the way. They don't pay you until they sell it, right?
Which could be
years.
Dude, fuck that, man.
Which could be years. My dad, I think in 2015 or whatever, had checks for 50 grand or 70 grand, but for production that was like 2001 or something.
I'm gonna start a maple syrup fucking operation where I'm smuggling it into Canada to.
Well,
But
am I smuggling it out? Am I smuggling it out?
No, that's the thing.
Or in?
The crazy part is like we produce the whole shit, and that's why I never eat crepes in Quebec, because we produce the whole thing, and then we have corn syrup in most breakfast restaurant, like most of them. Fuck. Yeah,
So
it's
we're
wild.
Not, you're
That's
saying
it.
that we're not using. They're not using the syrup in their own restaurants.
No.
Is that what
Okay,
you're saying?
so we're gonna start our own little forest up there that they can suck it. We're not even gonna know. Okay.
No, I think
But
they come down on you really hard with.
Oh yeah,
with
no, there's something the
fines and everything.
police.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't do that. No. There's people that did some time because they sold in another province so let's say you're in Florida, right? You produce maple syrup in Florida, so you have to sell to the Floridan government, right? Otherwise, if you sell to Georgia, if you sell to a buyer in Georgia, then you're illegal and you're gonna do time.
Okay, I'm strapping kilos of maple syrup. Getting on a shitty Spirit airline flight. Flying that shit out of there. Fuck that.
Why do you think I wanted to leave?
Do they check for maple syrup at the airport? Well, liquids. I don't know.
well,
I don't even
heavy.
know that
It's
much
heavy
about
as hell.
Canadian government, but I hate it. Like with all my heart and fury.
You can't have the gun in your car.
Yeah, no. Oof.
No, that's why we lost so many market share, because we used to have, I think it was over 90% early 2000 of the world market share in selling maple syrup, and because of the supply control, then there's been, because Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, it's about the same temperature, it's about the same climate than Quebec, than the south part of Quebec, where maple syrup is better. That's where we did it. But what happened is that people in the U.S. didn't have any supply restriction on how many trees they can harvest, and then so therefore you had that part of the world took more and more production every year, because those guys, they were buying land left and right, and then they would increase as fast as they could.
Right.
They could supply it, because you have to fucking build the infrastructure to be able to harvest it, right? And that takes time.
Yeah.
And that takes resources. So you have to do it a little bit by bit. And the problem also is it takes a little bit of time, because financing sometimes is harder when it's agricultural.
Are there some animals that eat off of a maple tree because it's sweet? Is there something?
Yeah.
What's the? I'm still like a little stuck
Deer,
on what's
moose, squirrel, bears, all of it.
if you
all
break
of it.
off a little piece of the
They
bark
will
and like chew on it,
yeah.
is it kind of sweet and
yeah,
nice?
They do
Yeah.
that. Yeah. They do that a lot.
I'm just trying to think of what is the evolutionary advantage to just being such a sweet, sweet tree.
I don't know.
Mm.
Can you find something on this?
Sure.
Why are maple trees so damn delicious?
Why is it so damn delicious if we boil
That's
it
the
down?
question. How does that help them thrive?
But I think it was the Indians that figured that out with like like for some reason they figured out the water was sweet or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that was how. I don't know. I'm talking out of my ass right now.
Yeah. It sounds good. I believe it. I'm not going to fact check you.
Well, maybe Whitney, you could check
I'm
it
still
out.
reading.
I always think so. I went to a interesting. I got to sit in the audience of a little lecture by Brett Weinstein. Do you know who that is? Right?
Yeah.
He's like friends with Jordan Peterson, that crew. But they were filming for the Peterson Academy.
Okay.
And
What's that?
they are filming. Well, their goal was to be able to provide people with basically like a college level education online, but it's not going to be accredited. So basically it's an online learning series where they have speakers come into their studio and they film them, maybe 3 days of courses with a little live audience, and then this will all be part of the Peterson Academy online, and you get to go learn about all these
But
things.
even if it's not accredited, maybe it's good. So no.
They want to make
why
it
do you
where
want
like
accreditation?
if you went through it properly, that like it would look good on your resume. I don't know. I mean that's.
I think it's gonna look good either way until when more people are aware of it, and then it becomes
I hope
and
they
then
succeed
we
with
see
it.
It becomes valuable
Yeah.
because Jordan there's worse person to learn from than Jordan Peterson.
For sure. No, I think he's a brilliant guy and makes too much sense for a lot of people. But he had Brett and Heather Weinstein do a 3-day course, and I'm friends with one of the producers of it. So
cool.
Chris and I went and got to just be like audience members, and
Nice.
it was an evolutionary biology course, and it now makes me think of like everything I look at in nature. I'm like, why? Why is that tree so sweet? Like, why, for instance, why? Now, these are theories, right? But like, why is why is the seed of a palm tree made of wood? Like, why is it this big fucking wooden seed, basically? What do you think the advantage of putting so much resource to creating this wooden shell?
Well, protection, right? It's protecting the seed.
That's one, yeah.
But why does
What
it
is
matter-
special
why does it
about
matter to
wood?
protect
What
the
is
seed,
special
though?
about wood? What can wood do?
It's funny that we
And think about where palm trees
Yeah,
exist.
it can float. So you
can float.
Right, so it's dispersed.
So it's basically like a little boat. And when it drops its goal is anytime a tree is dropping seeds, the goal is for the seeds to go away from the original tree.
Yeah.
So it's not competing
Germinate.
for resources with the original
That's why
tree.
there's fruit. The
Right,
birds and
so let the
whatever
birds
eat the
take 'em
fruit,
away.
and then they're gonna shed the seed elsewhere.
So the goal is to drop this little boat in the ocean, and the waves carry it away down the beach, where hopefully it will end up
really?
back
Like-
on shore.
Like the mangrove seeds that I showed you recently that were on the
Okay.
beach. Same idea, to spread it out.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of seed is it though? Like, because I don't have the image in my head.
Of what, a coconut?
Yeah.
Like, no, think of a
Like a
actual, big ass coconut. That is the seed.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, it can grow into a,
Well, I
Palm
guess
tree.
it's a fruit. It makes sense.
yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, or you can just chop it open.
Why is there the water in there? What's the actual seed is the coconut? Like, do you plant the whole thing, or just a part? How does that
No,
work?
you'd plant the whole thing, and then it'll sprout out the top.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
maybe
you could
the-
take a coconut and grow a tree out of it. Yeah.
We're going to start a science experiment
Big
in the
ass
house.
tree.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah.
I just thought it was just like fucking.
Wait, that was just loose shrapnel, tree shrapnel?
I don't know.
Just collateral. We'll just form these balls of wood for no reason. Just
But
because
why is there liquid in there?
the tree just makes its own ornaments. It's like the Mother Teresa of trees. It's just making great, delicious coconut water for people to eventually discover and drink.
Well, it's very nutritious.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That's the best electrolyte formula from nature. coconut water. That if you have a hangover and you're dehydrated, or like you played sports all day, that's the best one. It's just expensive. And you don't get the good coconut water. You need to get the harmless, unless you get the Harmless Harvest.
What does that mean?
That's the brand.
Yeah.
Cold pressed. You don't want that nasty fucking warm shit. If it's on the aisle and it's coconut water and it doesn't perish, disgusting. It tastes the way I think.
It has preservatives. We'll just
Yes, and
way.
it's homogenized,
Nice.
right?
Yeah.
Or
So-
is it?
So
Not sure on that one, but inside the coconut is the endosperm. There is free nuclear
I knew there was-
endosperm and cellular endosperm. So during the
Yeah.
initial stages of cell division, those cells divide rapidly without wall formation, which is what we know as coconut water.
So when you drink the water, it's actually, that's why it's so nutritious.
Is palm tree sperm?
Yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
that sweet, sweet palm sperm.
So earlier you said
Try to transition off of that.
your first
Dare
job
ya.
was at a graphic.
So my first job.
design- Oh, I can turn the conversation back.
Oh wow, did that die already? Oh my
shit.
god, I look like shit. Plug it in. Plug it in. Don't look at me. I'm hideous. This is like when the club lights come on.
That was a good transition, though. We wanted to have
Yeah.
something to get out of the story. We're not gonna get back in.
Do I look beautiful again?
You do.
Good.
You
All
look
right.
great. No, I was just thinking. When I went to pee, that one of the things that I'd love to do with this thing is like, because I'm having a great time, and one of the things that I'd like to do is like talk to friends, hang out, have this kind of feel, and then that's what I told you earlier is like we can do this as many times
Yeah.
as you want. This is fun.
This is gonna be cool when I'm like 90 years old. And I'm like, look at me when I was young and beautiful. Now I'm old and fucked up. My scoliosis.
That's funny.
And I have no hair.
Do you see yourself continuing shooting swimwear for a while? Like, do you see yourself transitioning into something else?
I see myself over time being less interested in certain jobs and only taking like, the handful
most
that really,
coveted.
the ones that like excite me,
Okay.
and going more into the teaching and community stuff.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you'd like to maybe expand what you're doing on
Absolutely,
on Monday
yes.
night and
Yes.
This was the idea that you.
Yeah, I was just giving her like a little preview of what I'm pretty certain I'm going to move fully forward with, which is like creating an online community for photographers where we have basically like an inner circle group where we have places. There's like different forums, kind of like a Discord group, but it'd be more formal and organized than just saying like, oh, here's a Discord that has different rooms in it. But essentially, same idea where we have a place to chat. There are different rooms for different things. Maybe I might actually use Discord for that part, but also where I have like monthly Zoom virtual meetups, maybe once a year an actual in-person event, and get things like discounts on certain things if you're a part of the group. I want a place where people can post jobs. They're like, hey, I need an assistant for this upcoming gig in Miami.
I love that because it's hard to find.
Yeah, and I already have that with my friends that are like my close photographer friends. We're always, hey, you want to assist on this thing? No, but I'll see if so-and-so does, right? And we do that already. And,
Yeah.
and there's these great opportunities that float around, but they only exist when you're like in
that
the...
close.
And,
Yeah. And there's a lot of people outside of that. But I'm like, hey, if you will pay to be a part of an organized group and one where it sort of turns into a nice little tribe, and there's trust in there and everything, I think there's a good... And it does exist, but they're not great, the ones that are out there.
Have you think about doing the group for free? and create the community.
I'll
without
start it for
asking-
free. I will start it for free with the people that are my close friends.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to build a certain
Exactly.
kind of like culture and community.
Yes.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
We'll build a little area. So basically, I talked to a couple friends already. I said, listen, so instead of anything you would normally text me like, hey, I have this, just start putting it into this group or into the platform, and then the platform will already have, by the time I announce it, it will already have some meat in there,
good
you know?
content.
Yeah,
Some
exactly.
good,
good history.
opportunities
Yeah.
and history
Right.
and things
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, this is nice.
And to be able to say, hey, these are the people in this group. They don't need to know if they're paying or not, but
Yeah.
it's like
Fair. Yeah.
you'll come
It's
into the
just-
group and
yeah.
I'm gonna already have some amazing photographers as a part of it that'll vouch for it, you know?
I love that idea.
Yeah.
That's nice. When
Yeah.
when are you going to do that?
This like really came up. I had one of my buddies, a good friend of mine, I was having a nice, just long catch up phone call with him over the weekend. You should get him on. I want to set you up, my buddy Jason. He's such a fucking character, and every story he tells, I talk a lot, but when I call him, I shut up because he's just fun to listen to, and he's so opinionated,
What does he
but he's
do?
also smart. He's a real estate guy. Well,
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was. He was selling commercial real estate.
Cool, me too.
I think he even did timeshares. That's where he got his start.
Okay.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't timeshare salesmen like the just like most cutthroat sales of like all time, kind of like that? I believe back in the day when timeshares were like at their peak, the methods were, if you learned timeshare sales, you were learning sort of like the best of sales techniques in a sense, like because they were putting so much into that.
Yeah. Maybe, okay. There was also a lot of fuckery with timeshares.
Oh yeah, I mean it's like such bullshit and
So
fucking
that's why I'm
scam.
saying.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
why I'm
it's
saying,
scammy. Yeah, but
the
That's-
selling part I don't like.
yeah,
but
it's very sharky. That's like, so it's like the unethical sales.
yeah, it's too
Yes.
Because when you sell, the best sales is when the one that happened by itself
Yes.
is the one that she did
Right.
this weekend, because she loves to go to the Keys, and then we haven't been enough, and then she was sad.
What do you like about the Keys?
I like
Where do you
the
go in the
usually
Keys?
the diving. I think a lot of the,
Oh,
some of
okay.
the best free diving to be out on the water.
Oh, you do free diving versus scuba?
I don't know how to scuba dive yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
I
just
like free diving more than
Yeah? nice.
yeah.
Do you go out often or
No.
Oh.
Never.
trip to the Keys? You can do some biking. We could do some diving. Get him into it. I'm slowly working him up.
I was going every once in a while. I had some friends. We would go lobster diving, and we would do it right off the beach, which was cool.
Yeah.
When lobster season hit.
Well, cool. Let's do it then. Because so that's what happened. Like I'm very much so whatever you want to do. I'm gonna be happy.
You're open, yeah.
Because that's the thing. I like to do nothing.
Yeah.
Great weekend for me. I'm just gonna.
You're content.
Yeah. We could spend it at home. We could do a bunch of things.
Yeah.
Most likely, either way, I'm gonna.
You don't need to be really entertained with
No.
outside
It can be
activities.
My favorite place is right by our house.
The little tree by the park.
Yeah.
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 you showed me that.
There's a lake.
Looks peaceful.
There's a tree. I sit down there. I smoke a cigar, smoke a joint, do some work. I think, I write.
Yeah.
I like
it
it
reminds
a
me of
lot.
what my grandpa used to do.
I hang out with my dog.
Yeah.
It's
He used
just
to
fun.
he used to go to Publix for fun, like a Sunday.
To Publix.
Go to Publix by himself for 4 hours.
Really?
So just a chill 4 hours. Sit on the little bench right outside of the doors.
Okay.
And as people came out, he'd try to spark up conversation with them.
Really?
Sometimes they sit down and talk to him.
Huh?
Is he Italian?
No,
Family. Oh.
just weird. No, my grandpa was cool. He was he was like a kind of a mix of Irish and Western European. Yeah.
Okay.
And then my grandma on that side German, and then my mom's side is all Italian. Like, so I'm like on a DNA test, I'm 50% Italian. But I look more like my dad's side, I think.
The Irish side.
The Irish Germany. Yeah. Yeah. But I never did that, the Publix chat.
No?
Not yet.
The sit and chat.
There's still,
Do you
there's
wanna
still
try
time. There's
Kind
still
of.
time.
I kind of do. I feel like there will be a place in my life where I just hit pure monk mode and I'll want to go to Publix and
Don't care.
yeah, just sit there and like with my little Velcro shoes and my little pot belly.
Do you think when you're super old, you have the best time because you don't like you just high all the time on all of the medicine that they have?
Just don't give a shit
You don't care.
about
what the fuck you want me to do? I'm old.
You don't give a fuck about shit. Yeah, I think it's gonna be great. I think it's not something I'm scared of. I don't like the part of like pissing myself at night and whatever. And
Hopefully you can stay in shape enough so that doesn't happen.
I hope so too. I don't like the part of organ failure. I don't like that part.
Looks
But
horrible.
yeah, there's some stuff that you're just like you can't stop.
It's gonna happen.
I hope I fall off a cliff essentially at the end. You know, like I don't want to. This is my thing when I say like I want to live a nice long life, but you ever hear people say if you made suggestions to like let's say a parent or something like I don't want to live that long anyways, and I'm not gonna. It's like no, it's like the quality of life up until the end, right? So I don't want to have like a bad 20 years and then go. I want to have like a bad year at the end, right? I want it to be like pretty good, pretty stable, and then just like okay, and then go off a cliff, kind of, right? And that's how I think that's the best option. If you can, you know, do things to help you hopefully achieve that, right? Versus like, I mean, there's some people that once they're in their 50s, their health already sucks, and then it's like I think you have to like play whack-a-mole with your health. It's like when something comes out, like boom, just fucking fix it. Because 6 months down the road, there's gonna be a new problem. And then when they stack, it'll be so overwhelming that you'll just, you know, call defeat. Yeah. And yep, this is getting old. That's when people say like, oh, this is part of getting old.
I don't like that at all.
I don't like that either. I don't like that giving up attitude because I know old people that are crushing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to be like those old fogies. Yeah. That's
like
the goal.
RFK.
Oh, yeah. He's a beast.
He's 70 years old and he's
it's like doing pull-ups and shit. And yeah. That's a perfect example.
He looks great.
Yeah. Yeah, and considering like he's got that throat disease, right? Like his voice is fucked up, but so imagine some people probably would have been like that sucks so bad
that he cannot
that like fuck everything else.
Yeah.
He clearly, you know, still kept up on everything else that he could, and that's just one thing that was out of his control. It's like, all right, work around it.
That's true.
You know?
Yeah, just have a mentality to keep going.
Yeah.
It's funny though. Earlier, I saw a tweet from one of his friend or whatever. I don't know the guy. It was just I just saw the tweet, and it was this guy, you know, with a photo of him and RFK, and he was just saying like, I think, I can't believe my friend is running for president or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's interesting. Just imagine like one of your closest friends.
Yeah.
Is like you've known this guy for 30 years.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're late in your 60s. You've been buddies forever, and then your friend is deciding to run for president.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild.
Like just it must be. How does that?
I'm trying to think what's the closest version of that I have.
Yeah, do you have anyone that surprised you?
It's like, oh, my friend did porn. It's crazy. He was just like a normal guy or whatever.
I have a few friends. I have a friend that played in the NFL. That was cool. So
I don't know. My friends are all losers, I guess. Nothing's popping up in my head. Just kidding. No.
We played football together in high school, and we were never on the same team. But we were on the same. We were not on the same team at school, but in the civil. So in the summer when you were a little bit good, there was the regional team or whatever that would play against other regional team. And then we were playing together then when we were like 15, 16 or whatever, like before.
Wait, playing what sport?
Football.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was a quarterback when back then, and I was a wide receiver.
Okay.
And he played tight end in the NFL. Anthony Auclair, from Sainte Marie in Beauce.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Hell yeah. He did porn too.
Dude is like 6'6", 250 or whatever. Like
Yeah.
like Jack, but cool athlete.
My
very cool guy.
circle's so weird. It is like, well, I know a girl's got like a 400,000 followers on her OnlyFans.
You know a lot of those.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep, that's all I know. Instagram. I know an Instagram famous TikToker. I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
But you have, you must meet pretty cool people at some point.
Yeah, I do. No, I meet cool people.
Yeah, like the one that takes you to Africa.
Yeah,
Yeah, my buddy. Yeah.
that's very nice.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wait, so I don't think I heard the end of that. Was it
all
good? You made
I
it?
lived.
Yeah.
Happy ending. Yeah. No, it was an epic trip. I'll maybe we'll wrap on this, but I have a couple little stories I could tell you from that. So we read the whole the final note. We fly out to. The plan was to go out to Harare, which is the capital city of Zimbabwe. Stay at his mom's house, like where he grew up. His mom's like, I think she's still alive, but like barely. She's like in her 90s, and at that time, so this was 6 years ago, I think. She was still living there, and he would go visit maybe once a year, and then bring his wife and 3 daughters. So they basically did like a week stay at the house, and then we all got there at the end of their stay. So then we would go into this whole adventure from that. So like while we were at the house, we had like one nice dinner like in a house, right?
Okay.
The last meal.
Yeah, truly. And
did she die right after?
No, for them.
no, for us, like essentially before we were just
okay.
like off to the wild and in the bush. And he was like in front of, he's like, Beth, he's talking to his wife. He's like, check the will. Or I want to tell you where the will is and blah, blah. He's like, this might be the trip that takes me. And we're like, hey, can you have that conversation like somewhere fucking else? So,
How wild.
yeah. And he was serious. So,
It's a good conversation. to have.
yeah.
Well, that makes sense if you really can die.
Yeah.
it's
So,
fair.
so then the next, by the way, even at the house, even though it was like this was the most luxury we were going to have, it's 60% unemployment in the capital city. I mean, it's like crazy. Like when you're driving down the street, it's just people are selling shit. Everybody's just standing around trying to sell you the thing they found in a garbage. It's like
It's
a-
simple.
a belt, and here's a one windshield wiper from whatever car.
Huh.
Yeah,
Really?
just all day.
Like junk.
Yeah, just a little junk. And then like the flea market, it's like their version of like a swap shop, which is like a whole city, like a shanty town, and it's just shit that they're selling. Like, I mean, like the weirdest shit. We went up to a place. It's like a jar of looked like dirt water, just brown water. I'm like, what is that for? It's like, I go, is that like could it fix a headache? He's like, yes. Like whatever you said is like it's what it's for, It's fucking just water with dirt in it. Basically, I think is really what it was. Like
Really?
yeah, I had dried bugs there. They're selling just like the weirdest stuff, like tools that are like rusted, like like the tool section is a rusty tool section. Anyways,
You have to
yeah.
You have to start somewhere. That's
Yeah.
the crazy
Yeah.
thing. That's the crazy thing. It's like,
You're just trying to make money in any way that
Yeah.
you can.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is the best.
and they're
that they got
there
right
every
now.
day. Yeah, they're there sitting there every day and like probably don't get a sale for like a week and a half at a time or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Anyways, so we have dinner at the house. A little funny thing that happened that like worked out later was I go in the bathroom to take a dump, and Matt, one of the guys, sticks as like just kind of joking around. He puts his camera through the window and like snaps a photo of me, and I'm like sitting down there like this. I'm like, right? Kind of like when the light turned off. And okay, fast forward. The next day, by the way, at the house, like the water, like in the city, there's like no pressure. So like the in the shower, it's like a literal like drips coming out of the faucet head. And it would take like 45 minutes to try to take a shower. So like we all just ended up showering in the pool. Like we're in the pool with a bar of soap, basically.
Occasion shower.
Yeah. And in the shower, there's like spiders on the wall. I'm like, but they're like, that's normal there. It's like these spiders, they're like spiders the size of my hand, but they're like really skinny. Like, and they're like over my head that night when I slept. There was like 2 spiders on the ceiling that I'm just like staring at for an hour.
Not venomous. You'll be
yeah,
fine.
they're not, but like, it's just, it's like, you're not used to it. It's weird. Anyways, so then the next day we get driven out like 4 hours, like hundreds of miles out to the bush to get dropped off where we're going to sleep overnight and then get picked up by these 2 locals that have the canoes for us, whatever. But on the way, another thing out there is like the government's so corrupt. There's not really cops. It's all like military basically, right? Mm-hmm. And the government are like, they're the ones that send out their military guys to go poach animals to bring those parts back to them to use for like stupid shit like aphrodisiacs and stuff is, what
they believe in. Yeah.
Yeah. They'll murder these, endangered rhinos for a boner.
Well, they crush up the
right.
horn and they drink
and it's
it,
like pseudoscience. It doesn't even work. Anyways, it's crazy. It's all fucked up. But, so then, we're driving out there, and then they have like checkpoints, like everywhere that are just bullshit, like to just suck money out of you, and like they'll find something wrong with you. You have to have like us. It's like being on a boat in Florida, and they come and check. Oh, do you have a safety jacket for everybody? So like in the car, you have to have a little orange vest for every person that's in the car. You have to have. There's like stickers on the windshield, and every one of them is a permit. One's a AM radio permit, FM radio permit. Blah, blah, blah permit. I mean, it's like all shit that people that are already poor have to pay for all these things. They just suck all the money out of you for any excuse.
So they a little bit like our government is doing, right?
Well, just times like 1,000, right? It's like, yeah. So, well, yeah, true here too. It's like,
because we have tolls.
Right.
It's the same thing.
With crappy roads. Like, yeah. So, so then we're driving, and then here's something there. You can't point a camera. Pointing a camera at like military there is like pointing a gun at a cop here.
Really?
They can shoot you, and there wouldn't even be like a
nobody would question.
Yeah, I mean, no investigation or something. It's like, yeah, oh no, they pointed a camera at me, like took a picture. Like that's it's a no-no, right? So most of us were learning some of this stuff before the trip, but not everybody got all the information. So Matt we're driving down the road. We're in this pickup truck. It's like 2 of the guys are in the back, and we drove for hours in this little cramped pickup truck. So we're like squeezed in. There's 2 guys just sitting in the back of the bed. Driving around there was actually the scariest part because the roads are shit and everybody's flying down the roads. It's like potholes and stuff, and there's no line on the roads and the highways. So at night it's like very nerve-wracking going 80 miles an hour in a shit truck vehicle with other vehicles flying by you, no road, no lights, and then so it's just your headlights and they're coming at each other. There's no separation line on the road, and every time you'd pass me, they'd like put on their blinker. And I'm like, why are they putting on their blinker? He goes, that's so you know where the edge of their car is so you don't hit them. So as you're coming up, it's like their left blinker is on and then yours is on, so you guys don't smash each other.
It's fair.
That's a good
thing.
Yeah. Anyways, and the roads are tight too. Like they're skinny, It's like they don't like have a lot of concrete, I guess. So there's no cruising lane in Zimbabwe. The HOV lane does not exist.
Wait, do they have electric plug for the Tesla?
No.
So backwards.
I know. It's crazy. They don't have an electric plug for their house. So they we're driving down, we're coming up to a checkpoint. Matt's taking photos of this. It's like a van in front of us that had a big stack of bikes tied to the top of it. So it was just like he thought it was a cool photo.
Yeah.
As we're coming to a checkpoint, he's got his big like 24-70 lens on there and he's taking pictures. And all of a sudden we see the cop guy or whatever, military guy, he's like pointing at our car, like flagging us in. And I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm like, camera. We were like, yo, put your camera. He's like, oh, too late. So we get flagged now and we get pulled over. This is on our way out. This is like that second day.
You're so close.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God. We're like, this is how we're going to die? Fucking all the beautiful animals that could kill us, and this is it? Like the highway stop because of the camera. So we get pulled over, and the guy, it's a very charged up, like the energy is bad, right? He's like yelling, and it's kind of like he's like looking for a reason to get mad. So because then it's also a group of like white foreigners that like, all right,
what kind of language do you speak over there?
Like, just kidding. No, no. They're speaking like a dialect but yeah, they're speaking English, and then so there are sort of like mixes of like Rhodesian dialect and stuff. I don't remember
Where is
exactly.
Zimbabwe on the Africa map?
Kind of low right, but
Okay.
but like 2/3 of the way down.
Okay,
country.
so you have the thing here, and then it's like here.
And then below that, like South Africa is like at the very bottom.
Oh, okay, so it's right up over.
But it's
South-
huge. Yeah, it's like up and to the right.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Was I right on there? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a circle.
Yeah, so we get pulled over. The guys have us all get out of the car. I'm like, oh fuck, man! Like we're going to African jail. And Matt's trying to show him like that he was just taking pictures of the thing. He's like, and the guy's like pissed, like, yelling at him. And then all of a sudden they get to the picture of me taking a dump, and he starts cracking up. And I was like,
that's good.
yeah, and I'm like, like, and that changed the whole situation.
The whole tone of everything.
That's it.
And you got to go on your way.
Yeah, it lightened the whole mood.
Because
They sent us off.
That's the guy. The
That's
guy
the luckiest dump I ever took.
Well, probably in his head, he was like he could relate to that photo.
Yeah, he's been there.
He's been there on one side or the other, and then
Yeah.
maybe he could relate to that. Maybe he thought it was funny.
Yeah, he did. He thought it was great, and they didn't take any money from us.
That's
Like
funny
nothing.
That's funny how there's certain things that we all do, and no matter where you are or like what kind of culture you have, like there's some things that we do as humans, as persons that we can all relate to.
Maybe we should all keep a little photo in like our favorites album of like think of some kind of funny situation that you could then say like, sorry, I was speeding, officer, but look it, my friend just sent me this. He shit himself. Like, I'm going to clean up the mess. Like
Break down barriers.
If it's true, it's great. If you manufacture, you're
Yeah.
pushing it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that's the move. If you really want to get out of like a speeding ticket, just shit yourself. And he comes up and like smells. He's like, I'm
Not
sure you can smell why I was speeding, but just give me the ticket. Fucking worst day of my life. Just try to guilt him out of it. Like, get out of here, you fucking dirty.
I can't.
God damn it. He's like, oh, it's like I can't even write that. He'll vomit trying to hold the ticket. And if he still gives you the ticket, like make him like don't grab it right away. Like make him spend a couple extra seconds by your window.
Wait, do you have shit on your hand on this story or no?
No. What if you don't shit yourself? What if you have remember those little stink bombs in high school? You just smash it and your car smells like a rotten egg. You'd be like, I fucking shit myself, man. Like, and you do a whole like Oscar-winning I shit myself performance. There's got to be a move that's like
I think that's it.
perfect.
That's the move.
You willing to try it though?
Actually, no. My friend just sent me one that you don't have to shit yourself to do. This is relevant for the conversation. My buddy sent me, I think yesterday, this like video, and it's of a guy. He pulls up to a police checkpoint, and they're like, "Sir, we need a serial." He goes, he says something that relates to what the cop said, and he's like, in the Bible scripture, blah blah blah, John says da 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 da. You know, that's funny you said that. He goes, you have 10 minutes, sir. I would love to tell you more about the story. And he's like, no, just go ahead, go. And he waved him through because he was trying to tell him some.
No way.
Yeah. It's pretty good though, right? It's a good move.
I haven't heard that one.
Yeah.
You need to back it up though. If the guy is willing to take the 10 minutes, you need to.
You better know your
shit.
Your Jesus anecdotes. Yeah.
Because if you don't got no anecdotes,
yeah,
then you get 2 tickets.
Then you're not saved. You're not getting saved. So okay. So back to we get through the checkpoint. Okay. Because of the photo, and then we get driven out to like the middle of the bush. It wasn't like in some park or something. It wasn't some designated area. It was just like, here's
the bush.
Yeah, the point on a map that these guys are going to meet us, or we're close enough to meet them at some place in the morning. And as soon as we get out of the truck, it's pitch black. You can see every star in the sky because we're hundreds of miles away from the city. There's no noise pollution or light pollution, and like as soon as we get out, I hear like a lion roaring, elephants trumpeting, hyenas like squealing right around us in the bushes. Like they are the closest things to us. Bats are flying over us. It's crazy. It was like, here we are, like in their backyard. And
how big is a hyena?
They're like a big fucking
dog.
dog. Like that looks like a dog that.
So it's not
It's like
a
mangled.
Yeah, with giant shoulder blades and just like, and actually as we were laying down, and it was funny because the main guy from our group joked early. He said, he's like, we'll draw straws to see who sleeps on the end of the group at night. And you're like the most exposed because we didn't have a tent. We just put a tarp down on the dirt and then have our sleeping bags on that.
Did you draw the?
No, I ended up on the end of the group though. We didn't do that night, but I ended up on the end of the group, and then at some point
they were okay sacrificing you.
Yeah, they were. I think they also knew I had good snacks in my bag, and that like they would have got them if I got taken. So we're laying down, and I think like maybe 2 hours in the night. It's kind of hard to sleep out there. Like
You don't feel at peace?
Not really. And I didn't even hear anything, but my buddy next to me pops up with his flashlight, and there's a hyena like 20 feet from us just walking through our little camp. Like, yeah. And I'm just like,
20 feet is
we're
not
all
far.
like, yeah, no, it was like very close.
Let me guess, the main guy's like sleeping like a baby.
Oh, he was passed out. We tried to like, we tried to fuck with him and get bats to fly. We put little glow sticks on him. Because we were using glow sticks at night to like kind of help light the area a little bit, but we laid some on him while he was sleeping because the bats seemed to be attracted to the light, and like they were like coming down like toward him, and he was just passed out, like, you know, so comfortable. Yeah, and then the next day we meet up, we connect with the guys who have the canoes, we get on the river, we launch. We have like 8 days now to just do like 20 kilometers a day down the Zambezi River.
8 day?
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's basically like the 3 things that will fuck you up are the sun will fuck you up. So I had a little like G-Shock watch I wore that I put a timer for like every 3 hours to just remind me to like put a little sunscreen on. But a couple of the guys just didn't bring much sunscreen. So like 3 days into the trip, they're just covered in mud all day.
Yeah, because it's protective.
Yeah. But then at the end of the trip, their skin was falling off. Like, literally,
Really?
like big pieces like of their arm skin and stuff. Yeah, they were fucked up. The sun will fuck you up. The animals obviously can fuck you up. Everything can kill you out there. And then
But how cool to die fighting a tigers.
that'd be cool, I guess, for the tiger.
Like if you have to if you have to choose, I don't know.
I'd rather win, so I have the story to tell. It's not that cool if you don't get the story.
Yeah, that's true.
If you die,
You're
you
just the
don't get
idiot
the
that got
story. You
killed
just
by a tiger.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Your friends get the story. That's kind of crazy.
That's kind of crazy.
Also, the other thing that fucks you up out there on a river is a log. So if you're going down in a canoe,
You get stuck.
well, you don't see like a log that's right under the water. So if you hit it, it can flip your canoe, which will then now you're
Is
food for the crocs.
oh, okay. Is
So-
it deep or like
No, so well,
not
sometimes
fast?
we would go. Well, we went with the current, and sometimes we would hit these. When we went, there was like a big drought, and that was a problem. In fact, before the trip, the main guy, he's like my intel on the ground there is telling me that there's a drought and the river's narrow, and that means the animals are more condensed and they're fighting over territory and food, and so they're more aggressive and blah blah blah, and that we shouldn't go. He goes, but we must press on.
This
like,
guy
of course.
sounds amazing.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's like a real character from a movie. Like, yeah.
Oh,
so
cool.
This is what I want to be like when I'm old.
yeah, and we would hit parts because of the river drought, because it was low, that all of a sudden we just go, and we hit sand, and we're like, fuck, now we got to walk it. And now you're like in the river pulling your canoes, and you're like looking over here, there's a giant crocodile chilling. Like, and they told us before the trip that there was a large croc for every 10 square meters of the river. Like, to expect that much underneath you. So you don't see them.
Holy shit.
They're just there. There was kind of a, we even had to like hear the protocol for like if you fell in the river.
For 10 meters, every 10 square meters?
Here's a photo of one of these. They're dinosaurs.
Oh, yeah. Holy shit. That is close.
Oh, yeah, no, these are like, yeah, that we're just passing by.
Have you seen this?
But there's actually hippos like everywhere.
Those those are the worst though.
Hippos fuck you up, yeah.
They kill you just for fun.
Yeah,
They don't even
yeah,
eat
because
you.
they don't eat you. They eat plants. This is a hippo.
Very territorial.
Yep, this is a hippo that like charged my canoe.
Whoa.
He was charging you now?
Yeah,
Can you send us that? We'll make sure.
yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Holy shit.
Yep. Because and like look at this is like what we look like. You know, I mean, this is me taking a picture of the guys, but that's, by the way, it's not like there were other canoers out there. It was like we didn't see people for 8 days. We were like the only ones
Nice.
for this whole trip. And
then so the hippo was charging you, and then you
Yeah,
took
so
a
you-
photo, and then the guy.
well,
the
because
main
my other
was
guy
killed the hippo.
and he chopped its head off.
Nice.
And
with the sword.
yeah, shoved the sword up his ass. So so no, you have to challenge the hippo. Is what you do.
Yeah.
You gotta
Show dominance. and
There's
then-
some animals you're better running away from, and some better staying together as a group, some better going in your separate directions, some better to stay put. Actually, one of the guides that was with us, so we had 2 guides technically, but they didn't really like, because we had a plan. It wasn't like they had to tell us where to go. We just went down the river for these 8 days and had to end up at a spot at the end where we called in that, like, okay, this is where they're going to pick us up.
Mm-hmm.
And they stayed in a tent. And they were like, what are you guys doing? They like thought we were idiots. Anyways, so yeah.
So that was.
They're probably making fun of you guys.
Yeah,
the whole
for
time.
sure they were making fun of us. Like these
Look at
freaking
these idiots.
Yeah, like
we have tents.
adventure seeker morons. Yeah, so we would sometimes have to like carry our canoes through, and I was gonna say though, when the hippo's charging, the guy, I had one of the locals in my canoe, and he's standing up yelling at it, like kind of like if a dog was running at you and you have nowhere to go, like you're just gonna like no, hey, like he's like yelling at it, and he's smacking his paddle on the water, and it sounds like a whip cracking because it's like he's just hitting that thing.
Yeah.
And basically they will charge, and if you do show dominance, they'll back down for the most part.
Good to know.
Yeah. So, in fact, the bad thing is when you see a lone hippo. That's what that was, a lone hippo. So when we go down the river, if we saw a pod, so let's say you see like 15 hippos, there's probably 30 there because they kind of take shifts going above the water and under. So they just like to stay hidden, and also their skin is actually very sensitive to the sun. So all day they just stay soaked in the water, barely poking out, just their eyes and their ears. And then at night they go and feed on the grass. They come out. Okay? So they're like very sensitive. They're like big sensitive fucking killers. So then they're like taking shifts, so you can almost assume there's about twice as many as you see. And then if you see one on its own, here's why it's really bad. So like, let's say we're going down the river and like, all right, hippos on we had 4 canoes. So we would relay the message. Like I was in the front canoe, and hippos on the right, hippos on the right, hippos on the right, and just get it back to the, so we all know, start going left. If you saw a lone hippo, you're like, specifically you would call that out. And that would mean get as much distance and haul ass like through. Like you want speed and distance, because a lone hippo is like, here's what happens. In every pod, there's a dominant male. There's the alpha, right? And he is the one that fucks all the bitches and makes all the babies, and he's the man. Okay, so the bull, right? He's the guy in charge. He's the big dog at top. But at any point, maybe one of the pups that grows up can challenge him for that spot. And whenever he is challenged and there's a fight for that number one spot, whoever loses, whether it's like the pup that grew up in that pod or one that came over from another pod and challenged, they're ousted forever. He can never come back in the pod. So he could have been the man for like 2 years, and then now he's never allowed back. And he could have grown up there, won the fight, been in position for however long, but gets in another battle for that spot, out, he's never allowed back in.
Like apes.
Yeah. So he's like the dude downtown at the end of the night that's like knows he's not getting laid, so he's just trying to pick a fight. He's just angry. That's the only action he's gonna get is if he So that's what the lone hippos are. They've been kicked out of a pod and they're in that in between phase because his only option is to go fight his way into another pod. Or I don't know if they can just go kind of work their way into one without battling it out. I don't know. But anyways, when they're in between by themselves, they're pissed off and they're just super aggressive because they're like their life sucks. They're like a loser now, And when you go by them, they're like out of the water, like much more aggressive stance. Like they are like looking for a fight, basically. So that's why when they always would charge. They'd be so you'd be so far away from one, they'd be like, and it start coming at you for you're like, dude, fucking, we're way over here. Like, fuck you, So, but sometimes you're in a weird part of the river. There's not much space to give it the proper space. So that one was crazy because if we went to the right, there was like a whole pod. And then it was him, and then the bank, and between him and the bank was 30 yards. So we're just hugging the bank, trying to go as fast as possible, and he stopped 15 yards short of us. So in that picture, he's just and they are fast. They haul ass. There's some video on YouTube where there's one chasing a motorboat and keeping up with it.
Really?
They create a wake around their head. It's they are charging through the water. They're strong as fuck. It's crazy. Yeah. So it's a little your butthole puckers up in that moment for sure. But you also after the first one and you kind of realize that there's a good chance that they'll back down if you guys are doing the right move. Yeah. You kind of gain a little confidence about the situation. So that's why that time I took a picture of it because I was pretty certain he had it handled, and then I would get the picture. Yeah. So it was a very cool.
That's cool. It's a sick picture.
Yeah. Yeah, we would catch tigerfish for food and those things. I didn't even know what those were or that they existed, but they look like piranhas on steroids. Because I think if you think of what's a bad fish that you don't want to encounter, it's people think of a piranha or something like that. It's a little guy that sharp teeth being the main thing of why it's bad.
What's a tiger fish?
Oh my God! Hold on, ready?
Yeah, this is one I don't know actually.
Okay, so this is a baby one.
It
right
looks
here.
almost like a tarpon,
Holy
but
shit,
that's a baby.
No way.
That's a baby. Okay.
Whoa, they're
But look at, if we caught one that was that little, we can't eat that. So yeah, so look at this.
Oh no.
Yeah, so you couldn't put your fingers in the water because those suckers are everywhere. You don't want your body in the water because there's crocs everywhere. And then you want your canoe to move fast through the water because there's hippos pissed off.
A really intense game of hot lava.
Yeah. In fact, if
the
you
floor
fell...
is hot. That's what it was.
The floor's hot.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
The floor is hot,
The
yeah.
fucking
There is
Zambezi is hot.
Yeah.
The water's hot.
Yeah. Oh, and then you're worried about poachers because poachers, if they see... he told us before the trip, he's like, we can't be mistaken as poachers because then the parks rangers will shoot us. But if we get mistaken as park rangers, then the poachers will shoot us. So one of the guys wore a Lion King Hakuna Matata shirt. And it's kind of hard to be either one of those camps, when you look like...
I was thinking about a flag saying I'm a tourist or whatever, and then that's kind of...
Yeah, like media or something. I don't know. Yeah.
National Geographic.
Yeah. Just a guy. Yeah, I don't know. But, yeah, it was a epic adventure. maybe the moral of that story is like go have dinner with strangers. You never know. Like
Wow.
you could go have the trip of a lifetime years later. Just it's simple, you know.
That is.
What's an hour of your time to connect with somebody? So.
Huh.
Yeah.
It's a good story.
That's a good story.
Thanks. Next time I'll tell you about Cuba and how I went to jail in Cuba. We'll save Cuba for the next.
We can't do well. It's like almost 11.
Yeah. Well,
It was a good talk.
you think that's a good first one,
a good
and
Yeah.
then you got
Yeah.
some stuff in there to chip away from.
Dude, we're gonna have to make more videos about this one.
I learned so much. I did not expect. Like I expected the knowledge on
not
photography, but
expect-
not
We
on
barely even
wildlife.
talked about photography, didn't we?
No,
Yeah, no.
barely actually.
Yeah.
That's the coolest thing.
Africa, electrolytes.
I learned more about health than
Yeah.
wildlife.
Oh, dude,
You're
where-
multifaceted.
Yeah, that was fun though. Where can we get your stuff?
Joey Wright Photo. So WRIGHT. That's like my Instagram. JoeyWrightPhoto.com. I guess that's like the main stuff.
Do you have
Twitch, all that
you
stuff.
have something else? So you do your Twitch on Monday night.
Twitch on Monday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern. But the best thing is my Instagram because there's like my little link in my bio kind of then guides you to the rest of the stuff that I offer, including my workshop, which is every April. And I got little things I sell on my website for photographers and tutorials.
Like
Nice.
your whole kit of what you use.
My kit.
right?
Yep, that's right. You can go see all my gear and stuff. And and I do have a lot of like info out there that's geared toward photographers to learn from. So yeah,
Cool.
that's why I
Yeah,
don't
that
feel
was-
the need to, I guess maybe always talk about photography because I do it so much already. So yeah,
But that was cool, man. Let's do whenever you want. We can do that. I had a lot of fun. We did 3 hours something. That's
easy. Yeah, I could talk all day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. The same. That's the first day we met.
Yeah, yeah, we were yapping it up.
I heard.
Yeah,
All
you see how now?
Yeah.
I do.
It makes sense.
It
Yeah.
makes a
You're like, well, he wasn't
whole
lying.
lot of sense.
He wasn't lying about what he was doing that day. Oh, yeah, you met a guy and you talked to him for 3 hours at his house?
I believed it at this
I want receipts. Yeah.
Dude, it was a blast. Thanks a lot. That
Thank you
was
for
a
having
lot of
me.
fun.
Thank
That
you.
was-
Yeah, it was great.
It's a good one.
This was fun.
All right, everybody. Bye bye.